Okay, right. So a very good morning, guys. Can you let me know if y'all can hear me and see a screen? Yeah, all good. Right. So today we're going to start off with the Unit 8 past papers. So I sent an extra class schedule as well on the group. So we're doing Unit number 8 today. Unit 8, there are 3 areas. One of it we'll do it now in the morning. The other 2 focus areas, we will do it at night. And then tomorrow and day after, that is Saturday and Sunday, we also have extra classes to finish off unit number 9 and unit number 10. So tomorrow morning until afternoon, there is unit 9. Sunday morning until afternoon, there is unit 10. And then for 11 and 12, I've put next Monday and next Wednesday early morning as a few extra classes. So we can finish off all the past papers. Eventually, I will add it onto YouTube also. But like I say, I can't promise a date as to when I will add it onto YouTube. It can even be, let's say, 1 month from now, which might be too late for y'all. So on your end, try your level best to join live and get it done. Okay. Right. So let me share the screen. We'll get started with focus area number 26. So this is where unit number 8 starts. Okay. Coming to the unit. Did you all do the questions? Yes. Did you all have time to finish it? Did? Yes. No. Okay, so that's okay. Even if you haven't finished everything, Lama, let's discuss the questions. Maybe even after you do it, we can go and write later. So don't worry about that. Try your level best to do it and come, because otherwise it might be a little bit too fast. If not, at least after the explanation, after this thing, you go and do it on your own. Okay. So, and also I know, just checking, I remember when we started off this past paper class, I wanted you all to file all your answers. How many of you all have been doing that? You've been writing answers for all these papers. Yes, is your file getting bigger and bigger now? Probably you should have all the papers now, all the 35 focus areas I have sent on the group. If you have written answers for all of that along with it, I think you should have a pretty big file with all the answers written. So that itself should give you some confidence, right? It should give you some confidence to that you have done all of this. And trust me, if you are on track, and by next Wednesday, when we finish off unit number 11 and 12, you've done all the past papers from 2011 all the way until 2024. So that is 14 years of past papers you have properly done. So that is good signs. You have properly wrote answers and all of that. So that itself will give you some confidence, Lama, to go and write that exam without any fear. Okay. One more thing, I think I had a few messages. I couldn't reply to it. The MCQ program, guys, on October, I told this multiple times yesterday also. I will most likely open registrations by today. You all can pay and register. There will be limited slots. I think it's an ideal program if you want to recap the whole syllabus and also level up your MCQ. Okay. Yeah, so once I open registrations, more details will be available. I will share it on this thing. The fee will most likely be around 3,400. That's for the whole program. Along with the 2 printed books, you will get the discussions, recordings, all of that will also be sorted out. Okay, right. So we're going to start off with unit number 8, public economics. In case you have the books, I will check and I'll let you know what we can do. Okay. The people who did the one-time payment, yes, you will have to pay separately for this, because the one-time payment, guys, was for the 4 months of the fast track and 2 months of the mock exam series. So that's there. I'll let you know the class times and all of it. I will keep you all updated pretty soon. Final seminar, we will do one towards the end of October. Okay. Right. So unit 8 is, I would say, one of the easiest units in the grade 13 syllabus. So when I say grade 13 syllabus, that is from unit number 7 until unit number 12. Now, unit 8 is not a very complex unit. It's mainly broken into 2 areas. The first area is about the market economy failing. We call it market failure, and how the government intervenes that and how they also end up failing, government failing. That's the first part of it. And then the second part of unit number 8 is about fiscal policy. So there you have government's revenue, government's expenditure, government's budget balances, their debt, how the government's budget process works. All of that comes into the second part of unit number 8. So how I have broken the unit is I have broken this focus areas into 3. So the first focus area is focus area 26. That is on market failure. That is what we will do today. Then we also have my focus area number 27. So 27, we will do it tonight, is on fiscal policy. Today, guys, the class is at 6 o'clock, not at 7, starting early. Fiscal policy, government revenue, and government expenditure. And then you also have focus area number 28. That is also fiscal policy. That is on the government's debt, their budgets, all of that will be the last focus area. So all of it we will be covering off today, morning and at night. So we'll start with focus area number 26. So there's a small cartoon as well to get started with. Anyone has an idea what this is? There is a road, there is someone in the bicycle, there is someone pushing. What's happening? There is a 2029 also. What's happening here? So recently what happened was, if I'm not mistaken, last year, right? So last year, guys, not last year, last week, they officially launched a campaign for Namal to prepare for presidency in 2029. So now it's 2025. So probably 4 years from now, Namal will be most likely a presidential candidate. So let's see how it goes. So this is him preparing. Yes, that is former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and him preparing Namal Rajapaksa to take up presidency in 2029. So we don't know what will happen. We don't know what people would think. So what I would always recommend is keep your eyes open to the broader picture, because by that time you all will also be able to vote. See, as economic students, see who is good for the economy. Overall, look at that. Don't get caught up with most of these election promises all of the parties will make. See if they can actually deliver those. See if delivering those means you're compromising on your fundamental econ things, right? So if people come and promise to, let's say, cut taxes and all of it, you saw what happened when Gota did it in 2019. So have all of that in mind when you're voting in 2029. So that will most likely be your first presidential election vote in 2029. So remember, most likely Namal will be a candidate at that point. So decision is up to you. So with that being said, we'll get this done. The mock exam people, yeah, 2022 paper, that is tomorrow, deadline. You voted last year as well. Ah, nice. But was it, you all voted, really? That's good. I thought your first presidential would come next year in 29. Okay, good. If you all have already voted, that's nice. Okay, so we'll start, guys, with the 2011 A-level paper. Now, there is a lot of questions from this focus area, but the good news is the questions are not hard. It's definitely manageable. It's easy. So we can even go a little bit faster. The class is until 11. We'll try and finish as soon as we can. If we can finish off, I will finish early. Okay, so you all give me answers on the chat box. Faster we do, faster we can finish. So 2011 A-levels, question number 35. They're asking you, which of the following is a source of market failure? They're asking you, which of the following is the reason for market failure? Which one do you think? An increase in firms' profit resulting from excess demand, government intervening to correct the divergence between private and social benefits, inequality in income, distribution of income and wealth, increase in diseconomies of scale, increase in competition. Which one is the reason for market failure out of the 5? Answer number 3. So remember, Lamai, there are 3 main reasons for market failure. No? So what are the reasons for market failure? For market failure, number 1 is inefficiency in resource allocation. So under this inefficiency in resource allocation dilemma, you have a lot of sub-reasons, no? Remember the sub-reasons are non-provision of public goods, over-provision of demerit goods, under-consumption of merit goods, negligence of externalities, right? Exploitation of common property resources. So you have a lot of sub-reasons under this, which we will go through probably in another question. And then the second reason for market failure is the inequality in income distribution. That is your answer for this question. Inequality in income distribution. And the last one you have is Lamai, macroeconomic instability. So these are the three main reasons for the market economy to fail. They're not allocating their resources properly. There is income inequality and there is macroeconomic instability. So the question is asking you, Lamai, one of the reasons. So out of these three, which one is there in your question is the second one that is over here, inequality in income distribution. So that's why we go with that answer. So this, Lamai, you can even give it as disadvantages of a market economy. So even maybe in unit number 1, if they ask you a question of the disadvantages of a market economy, you can give these reasons. You can turn it around and you can write this. The reasons why the market economy fails can be given over there as well. Okay, so then that's an easy question to start with. We'll go to the next. 2011, question number 36. They're asking you, merit goods are likely to be underprovided in a free market economy because of what? Why is a merit good underprovided? First of all, when you talk about a merit good, Lamai, a merit good is an externality in consumption or production. Merit good क्यों? A merit good is an externality in consumption. So what externality in consumption? Is it a positive externality in consumption or a negative externality in consumption? A merit good is a positive externality, a good that generates a positive externality in consumption. For example, like this class, education. So education generates positive externalities in consumption. So when you talk about a consumption externality, yes, demerit is also negative in consumption. When you talk about, Lamai, externality in consumption, what do we focus on? Do we focus on benefit or cost? The focus is on benefit, right? Consumption, the focus is on benefit. Production is where you look at cost. So here, the focus then is on benefit. So now we'll take this, they're talking about a merit good, positive externality in consumption. So we'll take this class as an example. Now y'all are coming to this class as a result of this, you're getting a private benefit. So private benefit is the benefit that you're getting. So let's say because the fact that you're coming to this class on a Friday morning, nice rainy day in Colombo, instead of sleeping, now you're here in the class listening to me talking. So you're learning, right? It's helping you get the exam done. You're getting a benefit of 100. Then after you learn, maybe, let's say next week when you go to school, now one of your friends come and ask you, Machang, how do you do this past paper, right? How is the answer like this? Then you remember what you learned in today's class and you go and now explain them. So what happens? There is an external benefit that is created, a third party. Third party means someone apart from you and me. I am the producer, you're the consumer of this class. Apart from you and me, if someone else is benefited or harmed, that's what we call externality. Now, because of your consumption activity, because you came to class and learned, now on Monday, you're clearing a doubt of a friend. So there is an external benefit that gets created. So let's say you help your friend. So there is an external benefit of a 20. So as a result of this, Lamai, what is the entire benefit for the society? Because you came to the class. You got a benefit of 100. Your friend got a benefit of 20. So the society or we call it the social benefit. The society got a benefit of 120. But what happens, Lamai? Why are merit goods underprovided? Why is it underprovided, Lamai? Because in the private sector, they only, in a market economy, Lamai, people make decisions based on what? Do they think about the social benefit, or do they only think about their private benefit? They only think about their private benefit. No? Now, just think, Lamai, when you all came to today's class early in the morning, when you woke up and came, did you ever think of, if I learn today, I can next week, I can help my friend do this? You never thought of that, right? All of you all who are here right now came to this class because why? Because you felt that is what is helping you with what? That is what will help with you passing the exam. You thought about yourself. You thought about your benefit. So people in a market economy, people will only consider their private benefit. They don't consider any external benefit. As a result, social benefit is not what they look at. They look at only their private benefit. So actually, the benefit of this class is 120 for the society. But people think, nah, benefit is only 100. You only think about yourself. So that is why it ends up being underprovided or underconsumed. Because people underestimate the actual benefit. Actual benefit is 120. But we are thinking, nah, 100 with the benefit. So you underestimate the benefit, and as a result, it gets underprovided. So which one do you think can be our answer, Lama, in this question? Now, even if you think of this, which one is higher, social benefit or private benefit? Your social benefit is 120, private benefit is 100. So your social benefit is greater, meaning you're ignoring that external benefit. Answer number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 4, no? Social benefit exceeds private benefit. So social benefit is exceeding private benefit. There is an external benefit which people are ignoring. So this 20 people ignore. That is that externality part. They ignore that and they underestimate the benefit. It ends up becoming under consent. Clear? Right. That's 2011, 36. Then we go into the next one. 2011, 37. When applied to a public good, non-rival in consumption means. What is non-rival in consumption? Now, a good example we take is Lamai, street light. So we say street light is non-rival in consumption. Why is street light non-rival in consumption? What's the reason? What does non-rival mean, Lamai? Non-rival means there is no competition in consumption. That is, just because one person gets, it doesn't affect the amount available for another person. Now, if just because your house gets street light, that doesn't mean another person will not get street light. That person will also get street light. So that is why we say non-rival. So what is non-rival? Non-rival means there is no competition in consumption. Just because one person gets, it will not stop the other person from getting. Now, I'll give another example. You will tell me whether this is rival or non-rival. Let's say I told you I'm starting my MCQ program. I will open registrations today. So this MCQ program, Lamai, do you think is rival or non-rival? Do you think there is competition in consumption or there is no competition? There is competition, right? Because I will print only a limited amount of MCQ books. So once I print that limited amount of MCQ books, that is the only amount of books I can sell. I'm not going to print more than that after that. Once I print a set of books, that is it. So then whenever one person joins, that is the opportunity of another person lost. Right? So let's say I'm printing only 50 books, let's say. So then when one person joins, then there is only 49 others who can actually join. So there is that non-rival, right? There is rivalry. But street light, that is not the case. Even if you get street light, your neighbor will also get street light. Not that he's going to get less. Someone passing in your road also will get street light. So which one is the answer then? Which one explains this? Non-rival. There is a single monopoly. There is nothing like that. Consumption of a good by one person does not reduce the amount of the good available to others. Makes sense, right? That is what you call non-rival. Just because one person consumes, it doesn't mean the other person will get less of it. People who do not afford to pay cannot be excluded. What is that, Laman? No, a public washroom will not be a public good. What about this? People who do not pay cannot be excluded from consumption. That is called what? That's another characteristic of this public goods. That is non-excludability, right? Even if you don't pay, you can't stop that person from coming. So we'll talk about non-excludability in another question later on. So this is called non-excludable. Right? The free rider problem. So not this. It's a good provided for one person, it must be provided for another. That's not the thing. Resources used cannot be used to produce other goods. There's nothing like that. So the ideal definition of what non-rival means is the consumption of a good by one person will not reduce the amount available for the others. My MCQ program is rival, street right is non-rival. Have that in. Okay, done. That's 2011. Then we go into 2012. Which of the following is a reason for government intervention to correct market failure? So why they're asking you, why should the government intervene? So ideally, indirectly, what are they asking you? Indirectly, they are asking you a reason for market failure. Because of market failure, government intervenes to correct it. So indirectly, what are they asking? They are asking you a reason for market failure. So can you see if you can find a reason for market failure out of this? Inferior goods, diseconomies of scale, existence of externalities in production and consumption, homogeneous products, advertising. Why do you think the government should intervene? Government should intervene because of the what? Existence of externalities, right? So when you have externalities in consumption and externalities in production, what happens? You end up either overproducing or underproducing. It ends up either being overprovided or underprovided. Usually, my positive externalities are underprovided because people underestimate the benefit. Negative externalities, they overprovide because people underestimate the cost of it. So government has to intervene. Now, that's why my government intervenes. For example, for cigarettes, under excise duty to discourage consumption, negative externality. For alcohol, under excise duties. Then for, let's say, things like education, which creates positive externalities, and the government is coming and providing free education. Healthcare. Now, think of the COVID-19 vaccine. That was a positive externality. And the government came and provided for free. So whenever there is something that's generating either a positive or a negative externality, maybe in consumption or production, it ends up being underprovided or overprovided. So that is where the government intervenes to correct that issue. Yes, even the textbooks that you're getting from the government, free education. So that is that. Diseconomies of scale, that is unit number 4. So diseconomies of scale is where the long run average cost is increasing. When the firm becomes too big, the average cost goes up. So that's that. Under provided, you can think of it as under consumption, under production. Fine. So then answer there is number 3. Then the next one, 2012, question 32. Table below indicates the private and external cost and benefit resulting from building a coal burning power station. The social cost minus social benefit is in lemon. Now, what is social cost? Social cost is the addition of what and what. I showed you all social benefit. First of all, tell me social benefit. Social benefit is the addition of, remember the example of you coming to class and learning? It's the addition of what and what. Social benefit was the addition of whatever benefit you got, that is your private benefit, plus whatever benefit your friend got. So tell me, how much is the social benefit in this story? Private benefit is 180. External benefit is 110. So therefore, the social benefit is a 290. How much is the social cost? Social cost on the same equation now. Social cost for the society is the private cost plus any external cost. So private cost here is 190. External cost here is 140. Therefore, the cost for the society is a 330. Now, what is the question asking? Question is asking you social cost minus social benefit. Are these even questions? No. So social cost is 330 minus social benefit 290. How much do you get? 330 minus 290, you get a 40. So that is your answer, I think. Very simple, easy question. Just because sometimes when you see these numbers and when you see the social cost, social benefit, external cost and all, you get scared. But it's a very, very simple thing that they actually asking. Okay, that's 2012, 32. Then going in the next one, 2012, 33. One reason why the free market fails to achieve optimal allocation of scarce resources. Here, are they asking you about, in general, the reasons for market failure? Or are they asking you the sub-reasons under the first reason? Which one are they asking you in that question? These are the reasons for market failure. They're asking you, why does a market economy fail to allocate resources properly? They're asking you the sub-reasons under this line. So can you all give me the sub-reasons before we approach the question? Can you all tell me? So under the first main reason, inefficiency in resource allocation, give me the sub-reasons one by one. One, non-provision of public goods. Okay, so a market economy does not provide public goods. Non-provision of public goods. Then, over-provision of non-optimal consumption of quasi-public. So, quasi-public calls are optimal consumption of quasi-public goods. So, quasi-public goods like highways and all, it ends up being under-consumed. We had a recent question in our mock paper also, right? Quasi-public goods or semi-public goods. What else? Overconsumption of demerit. Under provision, I mean over provision. So over provision, or you can say overconsumption, over provision of demerit goods. Merit goods, under provision of merit goods. Merit goods are under provided. What else? Imperfect information. Negligence of externalities. Negligence of externalities. Then exploitation of common property resources or overconsumption of that. There's so many reasons, right? Exploitation of, I'll just write short form now, common property, I'll just say CMR. Then what do you have? Imperfect information. Imperfect information. Then imperfect competition. In other words, the creation of monopolies. Right? So when you have imperfect competition, they end up exploiting imperfect competition. Or in other words, the creation of monopolies. So all of that also goes. Anything else? Missing markets, you can go under an unprovision of public goods. So those kind of things are not there. Merit goods are underprovided. You can say underprovided, you can say underconsumed, no problem. Okay. So all of these are reasons under the first main reason. So first main reason for market failure is inefficiency in resource allocation. So under that, you have so many sub-reasons. So what is this question asking you? This question is asking you one reason why the free market fails to achieve optimal angle. So one reason why this happens, they're asking you for a sub-reason. See which one is your answer. Because public goods are provided free of charge to users? That's not the reason. Not that because public goods are provided free. It's because public goods are not provided. Non-provision. Because positive externalities leads to overproduction? No, positive externalities lead to underproduction. There is an underproduction of goods with positive externalities, right. Positive externalities because people underestimate the benefit. Therefore, market economy fails. Individuals' income and wealth are not identical. Now, this is a reason for market failure, correct? But is that a reason for market failure under inefficiency in resource allocation? Number 4 is talking about income inequality. But that's not a reason under inefficiency of resource allocation. So be very careful. That's not that. Existence of competition, having competition is good, Laman. Imperfect competition is only bad. When you have monopolies, when one firm is dominating the market, they might exploit the consumer. They charge a price much higher than the marginal cost. They exploit. That is the one that leads to market failure. Having competition is good because when you have perfect competition, the prices will be pretty low. There is so much of choice in the market. That is good. Not having competition is only bad. So then, not this as well. Answer number 3. Okay. Done. Then the next one. 2012, question number 34. They've given a diagram now. Okay. They're saying the diagram below shows the market demand and supply curves of a merit good. Okay. To increase the consumption, yes, this has to be Q1. No, I'm guessing Q1 is here and Q2 is here. Yes. I think I've missed the question on the Q1, Q2 in your past paper book. Because that is where Q1 and Q2 is. Yes. Can you quickly check your past paper book 2012-34? Okay. Then they're asking you to increase consumption from OQ1 to OQ2. What can the government do? So what can they do, Lama? Think of equilibrium, Vilu. Okay. You want to, now right now equilibrium is over here. That's why Q1 is consumed. But instead you want to consume Q2. Two things can ideally be done. One obvious thing that you can do is, Lamai, you can increase the supply. How can you increase the supply? Government can give a subsidy or something and they can increase the supply. That is one possible. Another possible option is government can encourage consumption. They can increase the demand. So then also you will get an equilibrium at this point and OQ2 can be consumed. So one of the two. Which one is the question talking about? If you want to increase the consumption, ideally, it's not a tax. No. You understand that, right? If you give a tax, now my consumption gets discouraged. So I will cut off this. Okay. Number 2 is saying subsidize production by P3, P1. So subsidize production by P3, P1. So P3, P1 can this gap. So give a subsidy of this much. Makes sense, right? If you give a subsidy of that much between P3, P1, that amount of a subsidy. Remember, Lama, the unit subsidy is the difference between the two supply curves. So if you can do that, then your supply curve will shift to the right. Unit number 3, we have learned this. Anna, you can come to the quantity of OQ2. So that can be our answer there. We look at the others. Impose a maximum price. No, maximum price will lead to a shortage. Impose a minimum price that will lead to a excess supply. Introduce a guaranteed price again. You can't put a guaranteed price below equally. They're saying OP1. So all of that will then be cut off. So answer is number 2. So just have in mind, Lama, if you want to increase the consumption of a good or increase the amount of units that is being sold, ideally you have to increase the supply or try to increase the demand. So any of the two. The question is talking about something that can increase the supply. They're talking about a subsidy. So if you give a subsidy of P1 to P3, that gap, supply curve will shift to the right. Now you will have the quantity of Q2 being consumed. So 2012-34 is number 2. Then the next one, 2013. 2013, question number 33. Why not 5? There is no point of putting a guaranteed price at OP1. Guaranteed price it's a minimum price along with a price support policy. So if you put a guarantee, there is no point of setting a guaranteed price below equilibrium. No, if you set a minimum price below equilibrium, it will again go back to the equilibrium price. So again, that quantity of Q1 will only be sold there. That's why phi doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay. Which consequence of building a new railway would be classified as a positive externality? So remember, Lamai, externality means a third party has to be benefit or harmed. So now when you're saying positive externality, it should not be a benefit to the consumer or the producer. Now, consumer of railways are people like you and me who travel. Not a benefit for us. Not a benefit for the railway department. Some third party has to get benefited. So see any answer like that because of this. Number one, a reduction in road accidents could be a possible answer. Now, if more people are going by train, then the amount of vehicles in the road will be less. That could mean road accidents are less. An external someone is getting benefited. That could be a possible answer. We'll keep it. We'll look at the others. Increase in profits for the railway department. Is that an externality? Is that an externality? Profits of the railway department increasing is good. It's very positive. But is it an externality now? Externality means a third party. Is there a third party? It's not a third party, right? The railway department is the producer. Externality apart from the consumer or producer, a third party has to get benefited. So this is not a third party. So this is not an externality. Increase in revenue from tourists traveling on the line. Again, that is revenue for the railway department. That is not an externality then. Saving of travel time by passengers. Is that an externality? We are going and traveling in the train. Now we can travel faster because there are new railway lines. Again, not an externality, right? We are the consumer. Remember, when you say externality, now if you take this new railway line, the producer is whom? The producer is the railway department. The consumer is us. Consumers are who? The passengers. So it is a externality has to be a benefit or a cost, not to these people, should be to a third part. Now, for example, now you all are coming to this class, you all are coming to this class and learning. As a result of this, it is helping you to get good marks. That is not an externality. You're the consumer. Consumer everything is not external. Because of you coming to this class, let's say you go and clear a doubt of your friend, that's externality. A third party. Always have that in mind. So again, number 4 is also not there, because why? 4 is a what? 4 is a benefit to the consumer directly, not an external party. Then number 5, a reduction in the value of real estate located close to line. Is that an externality? Because of these railway lines and all, now they may be broken the road and all of it. Then some real estate located close to the railway line, the value has gone down. Is that externality? Yes, that is an externality. Some third party has got this thing. But is that we are looking for a positive externality. Is that a positive externality? Did this third party get benefited? No, that is a negative externality. So that's a negative externality of this production activity. So therefore, that is also wrong. Then we can go with answer number 1. A reduction in road accidents. Positive externality of building this new railway line. So 2013, question 33 is number 1. Previous question number 34 was 2. Yes, if you miss any question, you can go about. No, number 4, like I said, is for the consumer. That's not externality. The passengers are the consumers of this train. So externality and a third party has to get benefited. So passenger is not the third party. Passenger is the person who is the consumer. Okay. Right. Then 2013, 34. A merit good is. What is a merit good? We talked about this before also, Lamai. Education. Tell me, in a merit good, Lamai, which benefit is greater than which benefit? The social benefit is greater than the private benefit. And lamai, a merit good is over-provided or under-provided? It is under-provided. The market provides too little. Under guaranteed price lamai, that is in unit number 3. Yeah? Remember, minimum prices, it comes under that. It's under-provided. So with that in mind, lamai, I will try to look for an answer. Which one do you think is the best answer? A merit good is a good that is made available to consumers according to merit. Does it make sense? A good that the government believes consumers will buy too little if it is provided by the free market. Does it make sense? If the market economy provides it, let's say, for example, something like education, they are saying it consumers might buy too little. So under-provided means under-consumed and underproduced. It's kind of okay, right? This makes a bit of sense. We look at the others. Good that the government believes consumers will buy too much. What is that, Lavan? If it is provided by the free market, consumers will buy too much. That is a what good? That's a demerit good. Demerit goods are the ones, Lamai, that are over consumed. So then not this. A good where any benefit obtained by one consumer is extended to all consumers. Is that what a merit good is? That means if one person gets a benefit, everyone else will get a benefit. Just because you come and learn in this class, does that mean everyone else in this class also gets benefit? That is nonsense. Good where private benefit exceeds social benefit. Is that correct? Private benefit exceeds social benefit? No. Social benefit exceeds private benefit. And that is also wrong. So then which one is your answer? Number 2. Because a merit good is a good lamai that ends up becoming what? That ends up becoming underprovided, or in other words, under-consumed. The market economy will only think of their private benefit and they will plus. The last one is a demerit good. 35th of 2012. Guys, if you all miss a question, 2012, there is no 35 now. Okay. Guys, if you all miss a question, just go back to the past paper book. Right. Okay. Okay. Done. Then 2014. 2014, question number 33. Public goods are not provided by the market system because. Why is a public good not provided? Why does a market economy not provide, let's say, street light? Why? Even if a cost is incurred, in consumption, a profit cannot be earned. A price cannot be charged and non-rivalry in consumption. Those who do not pay a price cannot be excluded and non-rivalry from consumption. Even if a profit can be earned, cost is incurred in consumption. Even if a price can be charged, it cannot be easily implemented. There are very close answers now. You have to look for the most correct answer out of it. Which one? The main reason, Lamai, a public good is not provided is because it is non-excludable. Because non-excludable, Lamai, even those who don't pay cannot be excluded from consumption. You can't stop those people. Even if they don't pay, they will get the good. So which one is the most correct one, Lamai, out of these answers? Number 3. So those who don't pay a price cannot be excluded. And along with that, you have non-rival as well. Why not number 2, Lamai? Number 2 says a price cannot be charged. It's not that a price can't be charged. Now, for example, for street light, if the government wants, they can charge a price. Government can say, okay, if you all want lights for your road, every month pay 500 rupees. That is not the problem. The problem is they can't exclude the people who don't pay. Let's say the government says, okay, I'll pay 500 rupees for street light. And let's say my house doesn't pay. So then how are they going to stop my house from getting street light? That is the problem. The problem is not that they can't charge a price. The problem is that they can't exclude the people from charging a price. That is the free rider problem. Exactly. So answer is number 3. Why not number one? Even if a cost is incurred in consumption, cost is not incurred in consumption alone. For street light, are you incurring a cost in consumption? To get street light, to consume street light, are you incurring a cost? No. Maybe then if you are to make one correct, it has to be something like even if a cost is incurred in production, a profit cannot be. Maybe you are to incur a cost to produce street light, but you can't earn a profit because you can't exclude the people who is not paying. Okay. Now, why not five? So even if a price can be charged, it cannot be implemented. That's not the only reason, Laman. You have to talk about the non-rivalry part as well. So 5 is not complete enough. The more complete, more correct answer is number 3. It talks about the non-excludability thing. Along with that, it also touches on the non-rivalry part. Okay. Right. So 33 is number 3. But there were multiple close answers here to trick you. Then 2014, 35. Easy one. Social benefit is higher than private benefit. That is a what good, Lame? Social benefit is higher than private benefit. We did this multiple times. That is a merit good. So now merit good is a good that has a positive externality in consumption. So look for an answer that gives a positive externality. The example we talked about in class is also there. Education and health, infrastructure and environmental conservative activities, ports and airports, roads and hospitals, national parks, and this. Which one gives the positive externality in consumption? That is education, right? The example of the class. And then I told you, maybe even things like vaccination can help. So think you can get the answer. It's not hard. Okay. Then that one is done. Going to the next. 2015, 37. Which of the following does not indicate market failure? Meaning, 4 of the reasons are reasons for market failure. One of it is not. So we'll go one by one. Existence of monopolies. Is that a reason for market failure? Why not 4, Lamai? Because roads and hospital services don't generate a positive externality in consumption, right? How is roads generating a positive externality in consumption? Education is better. Okay. Monopolies, does it lead to market failure? Yes, imperfect competition. Monopolies exploit the consumers. They charge a price way higher than the marginal cost. Yes, that is a reason for market failure. Excessive air and water pollution. Negative externality in production. Yes, leads to market failure. Lack of necessities such as national defense. National defense is the public good. Public goods are not provided. Yes. The adequate supply of public goods. There's a market economy that adequately supply public goods. Do they provide street light, national defense, all of that adequately? No, right? Public goods are not provided. So then that is the reason. No, that's the wrong one. Unequal distribution of income? Yes. So answer number 1, 2, 3, 5 are all reasons for market failure. Which one is not a reason for market failure? The adequate supply of public goods. So they don't do that, no. Why the first one won't come? Because first one is a reason now, existence of monopolies. That's what I explained. In this part also, we talked about here. The last one, existence of monopolies. So when you have monopolies, what happens is the monopolies Lama end up exploiting the consumer because you are the only firm out there. So monopolies, they exploit the consumer. So they charge a price. They charge a price way higher than the marginal cost. You're allocatively inefficient. That is why it leads to market failure. Okay. Right. So then 2015, 37 is number 4. Then the next one. 2015, 38. If an industry ignores the external cost it generates in production, which of the following will be true? Okay. First of all, you need to figure out, Lama, which externality are they talking about? Is it a positive, negative consumption, the production? They're talking about a cost, Lamai. Is it a consumption externality or a production externality then? If they're talking about a cost, it has to be a production externality. And they're talking about, Lamai, a firm that is ignoring this external cost. That means there is an external cost, meaning it's a what externality? Is it a positive externality in production or a negative in production? It's a negative externality in production. So you need to figure that out. They're talking about cost, ignoring that cost. It's a negative externality in production. Now they're asking you which of this will be true at market equilibrium. Price will be greater, price will be less, How you can do this is draw and see. Right? Watch carefully how I draw and figure this out. So I'll draw the diagram for a negative externality in production. So in a negative externality in production, tell me this. For an externality in production, we will draw how many benefit curves? One benefit curve or two benefit curves? We will draw production externality, focuses on cost. Now we draw one benefit curve. So marginal social benefit and the private benefit are the same here. Okay. How many cost curves will we draw? We will draw two cost curves. In a negative externality, which cost is the higher one? Cost to the society or the private cost? Which one is the higher one? Negative externality, the cost to the society is the higher one, right? So this is the marginal social cost. This is the marginal private cost. So where is the market at equilibrium? Market is at equilibrium where what equals what? Where does the market produce? Market is at equilibrium where the private cost equals private benefit. Okay. So I'll just give a number here. Let's say private cost equals private benefit is at 10. That is your equilibrium price. And let's say this is your equilibrium quantity. When I give numbers, it's more easy to understand. Now, what is this vertical axis, This is the price / cost / benefit axis. This is your output axis, quantity. So then, let me show you how to read this graph and get the answer to this. Now, they are saying, they are asking you, which of the following is true at market equilibrium? Right? We'll just try to jot the points down. So at market equilibrium, okay, I'll just look at the quantity here. Okay, social cost is, let's say, I'll just say 50. Okay. Now, at this point, I want you all to give me all the numbers. At market equilibrium, tell me, how much is the price? How much is the price? Is about you learning to read the graph. At market equilibrium, what's the price? Price is 10. At market equilibrium, what is the marginal private benefit value? The quantity connect it to the marginal private benefit curve and connect it to this side. So marginal private benefit curve can make it. So when you connect, you get 10. So marginal private benefit is also 10. How much is the marginal social benefit? At 100 units, connect it to the marginal social benefit. Have it here. Social benefit curve is this line. So social benefit is also 10, 15 away. Where is social benefit 15? Marginal private benefit social benefit curve is the same curve. The private benefit is 10, social benefit is also 10. So social benefit is also 10. How much is the marginal private cost? Connect it to the private cost curve and connect it here. Private cost curve is this red curve. That is also 10. How much is the marginal social cost? At 100 units. Social cost curve is this. So social cost is 50. I'm just teaching you how to read the curve and get the numbers. Take some time if this is completely something newly that you're seeing. So then, now once you have these numbers, now you can give me the answer. Shall we go one by one? First one. Price is greater than marginal social cost. Compare and see. Price is 10. Marginal social cost is 50. Is the price greater? Yes or no? No. Can't. Price will be less than marginal social cost. Is that correct? Price is 10. Marginal social cost is 15 in our story. Yes, that can be our answer. Look at the others also. price is equal to marginal social cost. Is that correct? Price is 10, marginal social cost is 15, not equal. Marginal private cost is equal to marginal social cost. Look at the numbers. Private cost is 10, social cost is 15. No. Marginal private cost is greater than marginal social cost. What do you think? Private cost is 10, social is 15. Is it greater? No. See now? So it looks like a very difficult MCQ, but it's about knowing what the externality is, knowing the diagram. You don't have to write numbers like this, Lamai. I'm just giving some numbers to explain the story to you. But you should be able to picture it. You should be able to picture it and figure this out. Maybe the first 2 times you do it, maybe you can draw a graph and put the numbers, figure it out. But later on in your head, it has to be okay. So remember, Lama, now this question, why I took that time to explain this question is, now this question, can be converted in so many different ways. They are asking negative in production. There are 3 other types of externalities: positive in production, negative in consumption, positive in consumption. Maybe they can even give you an example. So they can even give you an example. No, quantity is the equilibrium quantity. Equilibrium quantity is the marginal private benefit equals private cost quantity. We are not focusing on the quantity because they're telling you at the equilibrium output, what is happening. So this same question now they can ask you in all the other 3 types of externalities also. Maybe they can even ask you that indirectly. They can, for example, say, now let's say education, right? So students go to school and study. As a result of this, which of the following will be true at equilibrium outputs? Then you know, students go to study again, yeah, positive in consumption. Then positive in consumption again, then you need to figure out, okay, what is the private cost, social cost, private benefit, social benefit, what is the price, all of that. So think, okay? Right, that's 2015, 38. Then the next one, 2015, 39, easy one. A public good is a good that is provided efficiently by markets, rival and excludable, non-rival and excludable, rival and non-excludable, non-rival, non-excludable. A public good like street light is, come on, you should know this. If you can't get this, there is a problem. Street light is non-rival, no competition, and non-excludable. So public goods, answer number 5, huh? Non-rival, non-excludable. Should we do the cues in order? Order here now. That's up to you, Lamai. I usually what I do is in the A-level paper, I do it in order, Lamai. I don't skip questions, but that depends on what you're used to. Well, I know what is the strategy that you all used. You all skip the hard questions and come back in a normal 50 MCQ paper. Different people have different strategies, so I will not give you one strategy, Lamai. For me, I don't like to skip and go. I will somehow do a question only and I will go to the next. And then, but the questions that I'm not sure of, what I will do is, I will put the circle and keep. Let's say I'm not sure of it. So then after I finish the paper, if I have some time now, I will then come back and look at the ones that are circled. Okay. Depends on you, Lamai. So different people will have different strategies. Do what works for you. You don't have to do this. Yeah, you might have to circle the entire thing, but then that's a problem. Yeah, public goods and pure public goods, same thing. Essay also, what I will do is I will do the question that I'm most confident with. Essay questions, I don't start with the first one. I do the question that I'm really good at. And that sets the tone. And then I go to the rest. Okay, so 2016, 33. A good that exhibits neither rivalry nor excludability. Which one is that? So a good that is neither rival. So rivalry is also not there in that good. There is no rivalry also. There is no excludability also. What is the good level? They are saying you'd be very careful. Huh? A good that exhibits neither rivalry nor excludability. So they are saying a good that it's not rival also, it's not excludable also. Which one? Not rival also, not excludable also. Answer number Yeah, essay questions you can do in any order. Lama. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you read the full question? A good that exhibits neither rivalry nor excludability cannot be. Do you see how they're twisting the question around? Now you're not sure may rival the non-rival the what are they asking? So you have to read the question around 2, 3 times here. We'll read the question again. The question is saying a good that exhibits neither rivalry, okay, no excludability. Okay, tell me, Laman. Okay, we'll go one by one. Okay, a pure. We'll go one by one. Private good. Tell me rival, non-rival, excludable, non-excludable kata. Private good is rival and excludable. Okay. Second one, public good. Public good is non-rival, non-excludable. Inferior goods, we will not put it under this lemma. It doesn't come under this. Then number 4, quasi-public, semi-public, like highways, museums. They are non-rival. Okay. Non-rival, but they are excludable. If you don't pay the toll, they will not let you go in the highway. Global public. Global public is also public. No? So it is also non-rival, non-excludable, plus benefit is received by the entire world. Okay. So now those are the characteristics. They are asking for an answer. A good that exhibits neither rivalry nor excludability. What does that mean? A good that is? It's very confusing there, right? What are they asking? How are you going to figure this out? They're saying a good that exhibits neither rivalry nor excludability in consumption cannot be. So the one that cannot be, so neither rivalry can means non-rival. Neither excludability can be non-excludable. So they are asking for a good that doesn't have the characteristic of rivalry, non-rivalry, and non-excludability. Which of the good that doesn't have the category of non-rivalry, non-excludability is the pure private? Answer has to be number 1. So number 1 is the one that they're saying neither rivalry nor excludability cannot be. That has to be this. Because a private good is rival and also it is excluded. So take some time to put that, think about it. It's a bit of a confusing question. They have twisted the words around so much so that you get caught up. Okay. So 33 is number 1. Then the next one. 2016 35. Easy one. The marginal social cost of allowing one more individual to use a public good. Don't worry about the word social there. Focus on marginal cost. What's the additional? Marginal means additional cost. No? Additional cost of one more person using a pure public good. Pure public good means, let's say, a clock tower or maybe street light. Just because I go in a road and get street light, what is the additional cost? There is no additional cost, right? So your marginal social cost is 0. Answer number 2. Like even for a quasi-public good, same thing. Semi-public good also, additional cost of one more person is 0. Additional cost of me going in a highway or me going and looking at a museum is 0. Okay. Right. That is done. Okay. 2016, 36. The table below shows the marginal private and external benefit and the marginal private and external cost. And they're asking you, okay, first of all, figure out which good is this. First of all, private cost is 24, external cost is 0. Then how much is our social cost? Private cost is 24, external cost is 0, and your social cost is 24. So that means your private cost and your social cost are equal. So is there an externality in production then? Private cost got same, social cost is same. So there is no externality in production. Then it has to be something with consumption. So consumption private benefit is 36, external benefit is 18. How much is the social benefit? How much is the social benefit? Social benefit is a 54. So your social benefit is greater than your private benefit. What good was that? We learned it before. Which good has a higher social benefit than the private benefit? It's a merit good. Answer number 2. Okay, done. So it's the same thing. For duck, they will twist and ask. Then the next one, 2017. Disappointing question. No? An example of a pure public good is health services, museum, national defense, rail transport, education. Which one of this is non-excludable, non-rival? These examples are there in your tutor also. Which one? It's national defense. No, the police, army and all, they are non-excludable, non-rival. Can you just help me with the others? Health service can be a what? If you are just to classify, could be a merit good, positive externality in consumption. Museum, quasi-public or semi-public. Rail transport can't exactly say. So rail transport will not be public. Rail transport is definitely, it is excludable. If you don't buy a ticket, they will not send you in the train. Right? So it's excludable. And also, to some extent, it could be rival. Sometimes it might not be rival because there's so much of seats. Maybe you can say, my quasi-public. Yeah. Right? But it can even be argued that it is a private good also, because it can become rival as well. No, if one person comes and catches a seat, another person doesn't have a seat. Okay, so you can say that. So there is a argument there, but we don't care. We leave it. Education is a merit good now. Gives a positive externality in consumption. Why it can't be the first one or the last one? It can't be the first one. So because social benefit is greater than private benefit is for a merit good. That's what we have been learning in all the previous questions. You can't say public good. Public good, we don't talk about a benefit story. Okay. So here, answer is number 3. Then the next one, they've given a diagram. Given in this diagram are the marginal private benefit and social benefit curves and the market supply curve. In the absence of government intervention, misallocation of resources is likely to occur because of what? First of all, this is an externality of what, Lama? There are 2 benefit curves. So it's a consumption externality. Social benefit is more than the private benefit. Then it is a positive or negative. It's a positive externality in consumption. Positive externality in consumption. So now, what happens, Lama? The private cost equals private benefit is over here. So this is the market equilibrium in red. The social optimal is where social cost equals up. So can you tell me, are they under providing it or over providing it? They have to provide the quantity J, but the market is actually providing the quantity H. So there is a over or under. There is a under provision. You can say under consumption. If under consumption is not there, you can say under production. What about the price that they are charging? You have to charge the green price, P2, social optimum. But you're charging the red price. Price charged is too low or too high? Price charged is too low. Price is too low. Okay. Right. So with that in mind, Lama, which one is your answer then? We'll go one by one. Free market price is too high. Wrong. It's too low. There is overproduction. No, there is an underconsumption. Free market output is too high. No, it's too less. There is an underconsumption of HJ. Correct. You have to produce the amount of J. That's a social optimal level where marginal social cost equals social benefit. But the market only produces where private cost equals price. So there is a underconsumption that is happening. Negative externality in consumption, it's a positive externality in consumption. Answer is 4. Don't get scared if they give you a graph. It's not a difficult question, but you put that get scared, but the graph it's something that is manageable. Then 2018, they're saying when consumption of a certain good generates a positive externality, which of the following is true? Easy. So consumption positive, again, they're talking about a merit good. So which benefit is greater than which benefit? These are same story here. Which benefit is greater? Positive consumption. Social benefit is greater than the private benefit. Remember, you talk about benefit because it's a consumption externality. So which answer talks about that? Can you see this merit story, this positive externality in consumption? So many ways they keep on asking. Is underproduction, isn't it negative? No. Underproduction, negative externalities are always overproduced. Positive is the one that will be underproduced. So answer here, social benefit is greater than private benefit. Right? Same question repeated so many times. Then 2018, 36. Which the following is most likely to be a reason for what economists call the phenomenon of government failure? What is government failure? Now we talked about 3 reasons for market failure. Government failure is where the government comes to correct that market failure and they also end up failing. That there are multiple reasons for that. They're asking you for one of those reasons. Reasons for government failure. First one, negative externalities that result from production of some goods and services. Is that a reason for government failure? No, that is a reason for market failure. Let's say MF, market failure. Excessive consumption of demerit goods, market failure. Unequal income distribution, reason for market failure. Imperfect company, that is existence of monopolies, reason for market failure. Pursuit of self-interest among politicians, that is a reason for government failure. Remember, in your tooth, these are there. So politicians, their self-interest, bureaucracy, political myopia, making short-term decisions, making decisions based on imperfect information, all of that is there in your unit 8 reasons for government failure. So first, second, third, fourth are all reasons for market failure. The last one is the reasons for government failure. So 36 is number 5. The previous one was number 2. Okay. Then 2018, 37. Which of the following is true? Government perfect competition is lost. Not really. If there is monopolies, then my government will intervene. If there is perfect competition, government will not come and intervene. Or if one firm is running a monopoly, government might intervene. Okay. Which the following is true of the marginal cost of providing a pure public good to one more consumer? Same question was there before. What is the marginal cost? Marginal cost means the additional cost of providing a public good for one more consumer. Let's say national defense, whatever. Additional cost is 0. Same question repeated earlier as well. Then 2019. When a negative externality exists as a result of production, the social optimal quantity could be achieved by, first of all, When there is a negative externality in production, Lama, you all tell me, is the good overproduced or underproduced? When there is a negative externality is overproduced. So you're producing more than the social optimal level. So එතකොට ළමයි, if you want to go to the social optimal level, should you encourage production or should you discourage production? You have to discourage. You are somehow trying to reduce the production because they are producing more negative externality. So how can you discourage production? Look for answer. How are you going to discourage production? Social optimal level can be achieved by free market equilibrium. No. By subsidizing, no. Subsidy, they will encourage production. It will produce even more. No. Placing limits on the quantity? Could be. So if the government places limits, government says, look here, this is the amount of goods you can produce. That discourages production. So that can be advanced. Government purchasing the good. No, purchasing good can government is encouraging. Negative externality, government is also purchasing. They are saying, produce can api ganna. That's not the story, no. No. Setting a minimum of the quantity, setting a minimum quantity, that is bad, lamai. That means you are encouraging them minimum make a produce kana puluwan nan tawat produce kara. So that's not the answer. So for putting a limit is this. If not for this, the most obvious answer would have been putting a tax. Tax so if tax was answer, that also could be an answer. So remember, negative externalities are always overproduced. So if you want to go to social optimal, you discourage production. How can you discourage? By placing a limit on the quantity that can be produced. Then 2019-32. This question, I think I am. Can you all complete the question now? I think I've typed it halfway. Marginal cost of allowing one more person. Is it again for a public good? No, to use up your public good. Okay. Was it typed fully in the PDF or is it just my slides? Is the PDF also having half the question? PDF as well, sorry. Right. So which one is this? This is the third time this is repeated. What's the marginal cost of allowing one more person to use up your public good? Again, 0. I don't know why they keep asking the same thing again and again. Probably students might be getting this wrong. So usually, if there is a question that students always get wrong, they retest it again. But they retest it in a different way. Let's say there was a MCQ that a lot of people got wrong in the previous year. They tested in the essay question. Now that happened even in 2023 and 24. In 23, they put a MCQ on gross financing needs. No one knew. They converted that into essay question and we'll do that. Tonight we will do. There is a calculation on gross financing needs. So that happens. Even there was a question in unit 9 where they asked about competitive advantage. For the very first time they asked that. Everyone went and wrote about comparative advantage. They got it wrong. The next year they asked you to distinguish between comparative and competitive. So when there is a question that everyone's kind of getting wrong this year, it ends up they test it again until the fellow gets it right. Just have those small points in mind. Okay, then 2019-33. A merit good is a good which? Good which benefit both the recipient and the society. Correct, right? So there is a private benefit and also external benefit, and also at the end there is a social benefit as well. Looks correct. We look at the others. Does not have a social cost in production. It will have a cost line. So there will be a private cost. Now, for example, to provide education, there is a cost, no man. So when there is a private cost, obviously there is a social cost. You can't say does not have a social cost. Private benefits of consuming the good exceed social benefit. Is that correct? In a merit good, private benefit is more than social. No, social is the one that is more. Cannot be supplied through market forces. Does the market economy not supply it at all? They supply it, but they supply it less than what is needed. There is an inadequate supply of. Not, you can't say cannot supply. Can be supplied efficiently? No, they're supplying less. No, they are inefficient. So answer can be number 1. It benefits both the recipient and the society. That makes sense. The 2020. When an externality exists in the free market, what happens? Equilibrium price is determined at an artificially high level, equilibrium price is determined at an artificially low level. Now, here are they talking about what? Any specific externality? Positive, negative, consumption, production. They are talking about a specific part. So if they are not exactly telling what externality, can you conclude on one or two? For certain externalities, price is more than the social optimum. Sometimes price is less than the one. That depends on the externality. So here they haven't talked about the externality. So therefore, you can't say one or two. Market cannot reach equilibrium. Market will reach equilibrium, but it's just that that equilibrium will either be over the social optimal or less than the social optimal. So you can't say market won't reach equilibrium. Market will reach equilibrium. Market equilibrium does not ensure social optimal resource allocation. Is that correct? When there is externality, the market equilibrium that you get is not the social optimal level. Correct? No, you're either overproducing or you're either underproducing. That can be your answer. Consumers of a product incur extra cost in terms of maintenance and insurance. Nonsense. So answer number 4. Then 2020-32. Market fails to produce. Why not 3? You can't say market doesn't reach equilibrium. Now when there is an externality, now even in the diagrams that we drew, now market reaches equilibrium. So equilibrium is where private cost equals private benefit. So just because there is externality, you can't say market doesn't reach equilibrium. You will reach equilibrium. It's just that the equilibrium is either more than the social optimal or less than the social optimal. You're either overproducing or underproducing. That's why you're saying there is inefficiency in resource allocation. Okay, 2020-32. Market fails to produce public goods. This was there before also. Why does the market not produce public goods? Because there is no demand for such goods. Because it is impossible for the producer to charge a price from the consumers of such a product. Looks okay. We'll see there's a better answer. Such products usually entail large external cost and generate external. No. Their production leads to income inequality. No. Private firms generally have a higher cost of production than public sector. Not that. So why does the market not produce now? Because the non-excludability thing, right? Because even if you charge a price, no one is going to pay. So it's impossible for you to charge a price. No one will really pay. So that's the reason. Along with that, if they have also given something saying non-rival, that could have been a better answer. But this is good enough. Okay. So 32 is number 2. Okay, 2020 done. So now we come to the latest 4 papers that we have. Now just think of this now. Just think of you as a student who is doing A-levels in 2021. So if you are a student who is doing A-levels in 2021, you would have done all these past papers. And now you're doing 21. Just see, is there anything new or is it the same past paper they are twisting around? Okay. The main characteristics of common resources. Isn't that something Lamai they would have not directly asked, but that kind of knowledge was tested before as well, right? So what are the characteristics of common resources? Common property. They are non-excludable, right? Let's say fisheries and all, you can go and fish. No one can stop you, but it will be rival. So answer, rival, non-excludable. Number 1, very direct from your theory. Then next one. Same like a before one. Again, you have to read. The diagram below shows the private cost and the social marginal cost. Okay. First of all, what externality is this, Lamai? There are 2 cost curves. Production, no consumption. 2 cost curves now. It's a production. Social cost is greater than the private cost. That is a negative in production. So it's a negative externality in production. Okay. So then we look at the social optimum. So equilibrium. Equilibrium is where private cost equals private benefit. That is this. This is the equilibrium. Social optimal, I'll put in green. Social optimal is this. No, common properties of cost public are not the same. So what about the price? Okay, what about the output, Lamai? You have to produce the green. You have to produce Q2, but you're producing Q3. There is overproduction or underproduction. There is. You have to produce the green, social optimal. But you're producing the red. You're overproducing. There is a overproduction. What about the price, Lamai? You have to charge the green price, but you're charging the red price. Price is too low or too high? Price is too low, right? You have to charge the green one, social optimal. You're charging the red one. Red one is the market. That's the actual one that is happening. Price is too low. Okay. So with that in mind, look for your answer. Number one, the level of output is social optimal. Is the level of output social optimal? No, no. There itself, I will cut it off. The level of output is less than social optimal. Is the production less than social optimal? No, no. You're producing more than social optimal. Overproduction. The allocation of resource efficient? No, there is overproduction. Too much output will be produced? Yes. You have to produce only Q2, social optimal, but you're producing Q3. Too little output? Number 4. That's 2021, question 32. Then the next one. 2022, question 32. Which of the following is true about a public good? Same thing was there before, Lamai. Now in a product different form. Which one? One person's consumption means others get less. That means they're talking about its rival. Is that true, Lamai? When one person consumes, other gets less here, that is rival. Is public good rival? No. Consumers do not pay for it, can be excluded. That means they're talking about excludable. Is a public good excludable? No. One more unit of a public good for some consumers means one less unit for another consumer. That is also rival. No. One person's consumption does not exclude others from consuming. Just because one person gets it, it doesn't stop another person from getting it. They're talking about non-rival. That can be your answer then. Everyone pays the same price for the good. Public goods will have no price at all. No. So no. Answer number 4. Done. Then 2022, question 33. Which of the following is true when the production of a certain good results in positive externalities? Now, again, here, Lama, they are not talking about, okay, they're talking about it. Production positive. So now what you can do is it a merit good though? Production positive. Production positive is not really merit, Lama. Consumption positive is Lama, merit. Okay, they're saying that. So then they're talking about, we'll just see. Okay, we'll just go through the answers. Government must not produce that good. There's nothing like that. Private sector, okay, we'll try to draw. Help me to draw this now. Production positive. How much of cost curves will I draw? If it's a production externality, I will draw 2 cost curves. Social, the private. And then I will draw one benefit. So private benefit is equal to social benefit. Tell me if there is a positive externality in production, which cost is the higher one? Private cost or social cost? Positive in production. Positive in production, private cost is the higher one. Social cost is the lower one. Where are you at equilibrium? Blue, where private cost equals private benefit. This is your equilibrium price, your equilibrium quantity. You have to produce the green. This is your social optimal price, your social optimal quantity. Then looking at this, Lamai, tell me, is there an overproduction or underproduction? You have to produce the green one. You're producing the blue equilibrium. There is a underproduction. Always remember, positive will be underproduced. Huh? Underproduction. What about the price that is charged? You have to charge the green one. You're charging the blue one. Price is too high. Huh? Price is too high. So since there is an underproduction, the government also can actually intervene and provide those. Okay. So then let's go at the answers. Number one, government must not produce that good. There's nothing that government can produce because it's a positive one. Government can come and produce, no issue. The private sector production remains less than the social desirable. Is that correct? They're saying the market economy, the private sector, is producing less than social desirable. Correct, right? Social desirable output is the green one. Let's say 100 units. Market is only producing 80. So that can be the answer. The market price is too high. That can also be an answer. Which of the following is true when the production of a certain good? Did I have that this thing? Market price. Did I have I typed it wrong? Correct. Good will be too high. Okay, we'll look at the. Have I typed the question wrong? Check the past paper. In your past paper book. It's correct. Okay, we'll see. Wait, I'll leave that. Government must discourage the production. No, it's a positive extent. Government should encourage production. So I will cut off 4 as well. Private firms will not be able to maximize profits. There is nothing like that. Okay, so then now you have 2 and 3. We'll try to narrow it down. We'll see which one. 2 is saying private sector production remains less than social desirable level. So positive externality in production. This is the socially desirable level. This is the private sector production. That looks okay. Okay. No, positive externality. This is positive externality production. Okay. And then they are saying the market price of the good will be too high. That is also correct. Following is true when the production of a good generates positive externalities. But I feel the more correct one, you go with number 2 because you go with the output rather than the price. But I will not rule 3 out because they're talking about a production. So this is proof. No? Social optimal price is, let's say, 10. Market price is, let's say, 50. So you can say the market prices of the good will be too high as well. So 3 is also equally correct. But if you are to go, Lamai, to figure out which one is more correct, usually in externality, why does the externality lead to market failure? Not because the price is too high or too low. Externality leads to market failure because it's either overproduced or underproduced. So if you are to choose between the 2 answers, if both are equally right, I would go with the answer that talks about the production, the output side, rather than the price side. Okay. So I will go with 2, but 3 is also not wrong. Out of the 2, I will say 2 is more correct here. How many minutes for MCQ? Roughly around 2 minutes you can take. That's 22. Then 2022 question number 35. Market failure occurs when? When does market failure occur? Firms continue to incur heavy losses. Firms cannot find markets for their products. Demand falls and firms are compelled to cut down production. Prices rise and consumers find it difficult to meet their needs. Price mechanism does not allocate resources efficiently. So one main reason for market failure is there now. Inefficiency in resource allocation, income inequality, macroeconomic instability. Which one is there? Number 5, inefficiency in resource allocation. Market economy doesn't allocate resources efficiently. Then the last 2 A-level papers. 2023. Which of the following is not a global public good? So a global public good has to be Lamai, non-rival, non-excludable, and the benefit should be received by the entire world, entire globe. So which one? World Heritage Sites. Okay. Outer space Okay. Cyber security. Okay. International peace, national defense. Which one is not a global public good? Which one do you think the entire world will not benefit? National defense, right? Your country's national defense doesn't mean lamai. India or South Africa or America gets protected. No. That's a public good, but not a global public good. So then what does this mean? The other four are global public goods. So maybe if you want to give examples for global public goods, you can give Lamai. Outer space, you call the ozone layer, cyber security, international peace, right? World heritage site. So those are all global public goods. The one that is not is national defense, because that doesn't give the benefit to the entire. Okay, this one. Which of the following options distinguishes merit goods from public goods? A merit good. Yes, it's a good that generates a positive externality in consumption. Tamaya. But what about the rivalry and excludability of a merit good? Lamai? Now take education. Take about you going to school. Is it rival? It is, right. When you get admission to a school, another student can't join. Now, how many of y'all would have, let's say, after O levels, you all would have tried to change schools, but you never even got an interview from that school? Let's say you got really good results for O levels, at least 7 A's, 8 A's, 9 A's, you applied for different schools. Interview, they didn't call. Why? Most likely, there are no seats in that class to take you. So even if you had 9 A's, they can't take you because where to put you? So rival. Education is rival. If you don't pay the fees, can they stop you from coming? It's excludable. So merit goods, also remember, my merit goods are a category of private goods. So it's rival and excludable. Just have that in mind as well. Okay. Then with that, now I will go through the answer. Merit goods. Consumption reduces the availability to others, meaning it is rival. That is correct. Consumption does not reduce the availability to others, non-rival. But then that looks correct. Public. So that can be our answer. We look at others. Provided at market price, provided at cost recovery price. There's nothing like that. Limited in supply, infinite supply. Public goods, you can't say infinite supply. You don't have unlimited amounts of street light. No, okay. Generates positive externality, correct? Generates negative, no. Public goods might sometimes not even generate any externality. Provided by the government, not really. Private, no. So then you can go with answer number 1. 2023-32, number 1. Done. Then 2023-33. Easy one. Market failure occurs when? So they're asking you a reason for market failure. Some firms cannot find markets. Markets do not allocate resources efficiently. Markets do not supply merit goods. Demand exceeds supply. Government sets price controls. Reason for market failure. Look for the main 3 reasons. If the main 3 reasons are not there, then look for sub-reasons. One of the main 3 reasons are there. Markets do not allocate resources efficiently. Inefficiency in resource allocation. Okay? Done. Then we come to the latest A-level paper. Latest A-level paper, there is only one question from this area. So, question 2024-31. Now, just think, you did all the past papers and this is your actual A-level paper. In the context of public goods, what is non-rivalry? Wasn't that there in the past paper? What is non-rivalry? Either it will be there in the past papers or it will be there directly in your tutor. You can handle. So at least if you've not fallen asleep, give me an answer, Tagga. What is non-rival? The good can be consumed by one individual without reducing the amount available for others. Good cannot be provided for those who don't pay. The people who do not pay cannot be excluded. The consumption of public good of one individual reduces the availability for the others. Public goods can be consumed only by those who have paid. They're asking about non-rivalry, not excludability. Some of you all are giving me answers for excludability. Answer is number 1, not number 3. Number 3 is excludable. This is non-excludable. This is rival. Okay. So answer is number 1. Done. Okay. So that's the MCQs of this entire focus area. How did you all do? I think there were 36 questions. You can add and see if you did it at home and game, you can count and see. How much? Nice. If you genuinely did at home and came and got all 36 right, perfect. Questions are not hard. And so out of this 36, I feel at least a good enough mark is at least around 75% of the marks. Because these are not hard questions. So 75% of this is can at least around a 27. Got at least around a 27, 75% of it, you're at a good level. Okay. Mark and see. 36 questions. How much did you get? Good. So most of you have got above 30. Nice. Right. So with that, we are done with the MCQs of this area. Hoping that should give you some confidence. Same question, they keep repeating. So then what we'll do is we'll take a small break and we'll move into the essay questions. Essay questions also now mostly some questions get repeated. So we'll take a break. I'll give you a 12-minute break. I should be able to finish off by 11, but there are a few essay questions. We'll try our best. We'll finish by 11, but even if we take a little bit extra time, we will take it and finish it. Okay. So it's 9:48. I'll give you a break until 10. So you have 12 minutes. Walk around, do all what you want, and come back. We will then start the essay questions of this area. So take a break and come. Okay, so we're moving into the focus area 26, the essay questions of this. We'll try our level best to finish it off in, let's say, another hour, but sometimes it might take a little bit longer, but some essay questions are repeated again and again. So those kind of questions, Lama, we can go a little bit faster. Okay, so starting with this. 2011, question number 7, part 1. What are the main functions of a government? What are the functions of a government in a market economy, Lama? There are mainly 4 things that aligns with the reasons for market failure. What should the government do? Can you quickly give me some answers? So one reason for market failure is Lamai, inefficiency in resource allocation. So then what is the government's function? Government's function is to ensure efficient allocation of resources. So for that only, my government will discourage demerit goods. They put taxes. They have, let's say, subsidies for merit goods. They control monopolies. They do all of that to ensure efficient allocation of resources. A reason for market failure is my income inequality. So government's role is then to promote, or you can say ensuring income equality, or you can say Lamai, minimizing income disparity. Minimizing income disparity. We can talk about that. Then a reason for government failure is macroeconomic instability. So what should the government do then? Government should ensure macroeconomic stability. That's how they use their fiscal policy and all of that. And then apart from these 3, what else can you give, Lamai? What else is a function of the government? This aligns with the market failure reasons. Now, what else can we give? You can also say, Lamai, promoting growth and economic sustainable development. You can give in a reason like that. Okay. So promoting economic growth and sustainable development. So this question, Lamai, has been repeated multiple times. So that's the first one. That's why I'm talking about. These I would say is the main ones, Lamai. Fair international trade, not really. Infrastructure will ideally, again, you can put it under the first one, Lamai. Now, in ensuring efficient allocation of resources to make sure there is infrastructure, you can put that also in the first one most likely. So I would give these 4 as the main functions or the main roles of the government in a market economy. Ensuring efficient allocation of resources, promoting income equality, or in other words, minimizing income disparity, ensuring macroeconomic stability, promoting economic growth and development. So that this question will be there in other areas also in the future. Then I will be skipping it since we did it over here. Okay. Law and order will also come under these sub-reasons now, even in the first one. rules, regulations, and all of it will affect the efficiency in resource allocation. I would say these are the main ones. Okay. Then 2011 question 7 part 2. What is meant by a pure public good? So when you're explaining or when you're defining any of these goods, like public, the merit, the private, all of it, explain it using the characteristics. So what is a pure public good? A pure public good is a good that is non-excludable, and non-rival. So now you can put the touch about this. So that means a person who does not pay cannot be excluded from consumption. And also the consumption of this good by one person will not prevent another person from consuming. That is non-rival. And maybe give an example also. But 2 marks will take, sir, and no it naha, but give that. That's okay. Not that you're going to lose, no. So roughly, you remember, you can take around 1.5 minutes for this. Pure public good, same thing. Okay. Done. That's an easy one. Then the next one, 2011 part 3. Give an example each for the following externalities. Negative externalities in production. What can you give? So as a production activity, anything negative that is happening. So maybe factory waste really released to water, air pollution due to the production of different goods. You can say sound pollution as a result of various factories operating. Right? So you can give an example because the production activity is something that burning of coal for fuel and all. Okay. Positive in production, what can you give? You can give beekeeping, right? Beekeeping and all of that, you can say that. Then maybe providing training and all for your employees that can then help them go and teach someone else. And you can give examples. These are there in your tunes. Okay. Negative externalities in consumption. You can give alcohol, consumption of alcohol, smoking. As a result of it, you have passive smoking. So here, when you're writing answers, write complete answers. Now, for example, don't give an answer saying alcohol. Okay. So you can say, for example, due to the consumption of alcohol, third party is getting hurt. Let's say maybe you go and misbehave or you drunk drive and go and hit someone. That is the externality. So be very specific, because when the question is easy, the marking will sometimes be tough. And then, yes, cutting down trees to make furniture production. Okay. Positive in consumption. You can say education, vaccination, right? You can give an example. So ideally, what I will recommend is, for each of this, know around 2 to 3 examples. Okay. Done. That's 2011. Then we come to 2012. Define and give an example for each of the following categories of goods and services. So define and also give an example. So if you are defining a global public good, how will you define, Laman? You have to say that it is a what? It is non-excludable. You need to talk about that. Talk about non-rivalry. And also you need to say that the benefit of these goods are received. Benefit is received globally. So use those keywords and you can expand and write. Then you need to give an example as well. An example, remember from that MCQ, you can take world peace, financial stability, atmosphere, right? All of that you can take. So ozone layer, world peace, all of it will come. Okay, done. Then that is 2 marks there. Cybersecurity, yes. Then common resources, common property resources. How can you define it? You need to say these are the goods that are rival, but they are non-excludable. So consumption by one person will reduce the amount of consumption for the other, but you can't prevent the consumption of someone, prevent someone from consuming. It's non-excluded. But example, you can give things like fisheries, right? Yeah, you can say common ownership. Yes, fisheries, grasslands, all of that will go under that. Okay. Then the last one, quasi-public goods or semi-public. Semi-public goods are the goods that are excludable and non-rival. Ideally, you can say non-rival until it reaches maximum capacity. And then you can say, Lamai, it's what? Examples like highways, museums, you can give those. Fine. So for 2 marks, for each of it, you can explain. What's a natural monopoly? Natural monopoly is a firm that is so big that they have economies of scale. Their average cost is so low, no one can even come and compete with them. We learned that in unit number 4. Okay. Right. 2012, 7, part 1 done. Then the next one. 2013. Why might market fail to allocate resources in an efficient manner? Why? What should you write here now? These are the, what do you write here? Do you write the sub-reasons under what? Sub-reasons for inefficiency in resource allocation. So if you give those reasons, remember we did that in the MCQ. If I am to show you that MCQ, that same answer you can write over here. This one here. So why does a market? So look at this. Look at the same MCQ. MCQ is saying one reason why the market fails to achieve optimal allocation of scarce resources. So all the reasons I have given, one of it only was our answer. So now the question is asking you, what could be the reasons? So maybe what you can do is, Lamai, instead of writing points, maybe for each of the points, Lamai, give a small, let's say like a 2-line explanation. That would be nice. Instead of just writing the points, non-provision of public goods. So why does the market not provide public goods? Why do they over-provide demerit goods? Why do they under-provide merit goods? What is exploitation of common property resource? So any of these sub-reasons for around 2 marks, product give it. So an explanation might not be fully needed, but at least write a complete answer. Don't take that shortcut because you will have time. You don't have to finish a 3-hour paper in 2 hours and look up and wait. So remember, always you can use 1.5 minutes per question. So then 4 into 1.5, you can take around 6 minutes. So take that full 6 minutes and write, Lama. Okay. So 4 reasons. So give 4 reasons. For each reason, give a small 1 to 2 line explanation. That's what I will do. Shaping. So you can talk about, Lamai, non-provision of public goods, over-provision of demerit goods, negligence of externalities, imperfect information. So any 4 reasons, give a 2-line explanation. We did that when we did the MCQs. So have that answer structure. These are easy questions. Then the next one, 2013 part 2. With the help of an appropriate diagram, explain why there are too many motorists than the socially desired in Sri Lankan roads. So they're talking about, Lamai, a over provision. So there are too many motorbikes and all than what is socially desirable. So here, Lamai, this is a what externality? When there are so many motorbikes and all of it, it's a negative externality. Ideally, Lama, it has to be a negative externality in consumption. You are the one who is riding a motorbike, no? But if you look at the marking scheme for this, if I'm not mistaken, they've explained, Lama, a negative externality in production. You can argue production also. But even if you have explained a negative externality in consumption, that will not be wrong. But I will stick to the marking scheme. So marking scheme talks about a negative externality in production. So we'll talk about that. So there are too much of motorists, there are too much of motorbikes. So then how do you draw the diagram, Lamai? So negative externality in production. So the diagram is easy, like that's what we drew earlier also in the MCQs. So if it's a negative externality in production, how many cost curves? Consumption also, they have to give marks. I'm not very sure this has to idle now. What I will write is I will write a negative externality in consumption. See, in your marking schemes, have they given an alternative answer? Just go back to your past papers. I remember in the marking scheme, it's a negative externality. It says consumption. No, I saw most of the other schemes had negative externality in production. Ideally, even for me personally, this is a negative externality in consumption. If it's the consumption one, that is 100% correct. So I will ideally, okay, I'll go with the negative externality in consumption. Okay, then fine. Because I remember some marking schemes said production. Okay, so then now too many motorists. Motorist means, Lama, you're the one who is riding a bike. No? So then it's a negative externality in what? Yeah, then we'll go with consumption. Sorry, I thought the marking scheme said production. So it's a negative externality in consumption. So you're the one riding the consumer. The producing of motorbikes is not the externality. When so many people consume motorbikes, keep on riding, that is where the externality comes. So it's a negative externality in consumption. So if that is the case, will you draw two benefit curves or two this things? They've given production marking. That's right. Some marking schemes, I think, have the production externality. Some have the consumption externality. But I feel the consumption externality is more correct. Okay. So you will draw them at two benefit curves. So if it's a negative externality in consumption, which benefit curve is the higher one? Aston publications is production, the rest is consumption. Then we go with the consumption. Okay. The private benefit is the higher one. So marginal private benefit is more than the marginal social benefit. This is the private cost equals social cost. So where are you at equilibrium? I'll put the red one. This is the equilibrium. This is the equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. Social optimal is the green one, where the social benefit equals social cost. So this has to be the social optimal price and the social optimal quantity. So then you have to draw this diagram and you have to explain now. So with the help of a diagram, explain why there are too many motorists than what is socially desirable. So you need to say, look here, the reason here is Lamai, because a market economy, you should say this. So in a market economy, they only consider their private benefit and private cost. So now you have to connect with your example. So because they only consider their private benefit and private cost, they end up producing, maybe you can give like Q1 hari, Q2 hari, you can give those. So they end up producing, let's say, the quantity of Q2 equilibrium. But they ignore the market economy, Lamai ignores any external benefit and external costs. If you also consider external benefit and external cost, then you need to say, look here, the social optimal level, that is the level of Q1. But since you're only thinking of your private benefit, private cost, you produce Q2. So you're neglecting, you're ignoring that externality. So that's how you have to explain that. Now you have the diagram and you need to say, the market economy will only think about their private benefit, private cost. Therefore, they will produce Q2. They ignore the externality. Ideally, if you also consider the external benefit, external cost, the social optimal level is to produce only Q1. But because they are ignoring it, they end up over consuming or over producing. So then that's why too many motorists is there. And if you want, you can talk a little bit about the price also. So they have to charge, for example, this price, but they're charging a price that is too high. Even if you don't talk about the price, that is okay, but write it. So you can say price charged is too high. You can give that and you can explain the story. Due to high traffic, they consider only private benefit. I would not go to that level though. You don't have to go in that level and give an example of it because sometimes it can get wrong. Okay. So I will give that as the answer. Draw the diagram, explain the story. The external benefit to the cost. There's a cost here, and cost is the traffic. When there's so much of motorists that is going there is an external cost of the traffic. Yeah, so you can talk about the external cost is the traffic. The party doesn't consider the traffic, and therefore that's the thing. Yeah, no, because I remember in the marking scheme here, if I'm not mistaken, I remember I checked the original marking scheme also. In the explanation, I just check if that is also the case. In the explanation, Lamai, they talk about a negative externality in consumption. But the diagram they have given is wrong. They have given a negative externality in production. Just check if that is the case for you also in your marking scheme. I checked 2-3 marking schemes. The explanation is about benefit and all of that. They talk about negative externality in consumption, but they end up drawing the wrong diagram. So you draw the correct diagram. So draw the benefit diagram and give them. There is a bit of issue there in that marking scheme. Probably when marking that paper, they would have done that change. It's just that these publications also remember, when you have the original marking schemes. Now, usually, I know, have you all seen, Lama, in this original marking scheme, there's so much of handwritten notes. Yes. Have you seen original marking scheme? Now, even the ones that are sometimes scanned and given, there's so much of handwritten ones. So those are changes that they do, Lama. So other options are also available. Now, what sometimes happens is when these publications, when they make their answers, they don't refer to those handwritten notes. Sometimes those handwritten notes, they change certain things. So, a changes, then they just take this and they put it. So that's the thing that happens. Okay, so just have that in mind. Okay, so here, explain the consumption externality, draw the consumption diagram itself. Then go into the next one. 2013, question number 7, part 3. Why is the role of government inevitable in the market, Lamai? Again, what should you write? The same thing as before. This one. So here, now you have to put the connect it and write. Now, inevitable means, Lamai, why you can't do without the government. Why is the government so important? These same reasons, Tamai, but you put that match it with the question now. You can say this: a market economy fails to allocate resources efficiently. Therefore, the government has to intervene to ensure efficient allocation of resources. That is one reason why you can't do without a government. So, I एक lesson connect करना without just writing these 4 points, connect it nicely and write. So, just the point that I'm saying. So again, you can say another reason is in a market economy, there is high levels of income inequality. Therefore, the government's role would be to minimize this income inequality and promote equality in income distribution. Ara ඒ වගේ connect කර you right level. So give the reason for market failure. Along with that, then connect it with the government's function. So A wage lamai give those 4 points like that. Same thing that we did in the 2011 paper, but you're just changing it a little to suit that question a bit better. Same thing, they twist and ask. Okay, done. Then the next one, 2014, same thing lamai. 2014 question 7, explain the major role of a government in a market economy. So now instead of stating those roles, you have to product explain the role. So there are 4 roles now: ensuring efficient allocation of resources. So I'll just give you all some points to explain this. So in order to ensure efficient allocation of resources, what does the government do, Laman? For this, government, for example, taxes the demerit goods, right? Taxes demerit goods. They come and provide merit goods, They control monopoly power, right? To ensure there is competition. Anything else? What else do they do? To ensure efficient allocation of resources, they provide public goods, right? You can talk about that. Provide public. So all of that, you can explain that now. Okay. Then how does the government lamai promote income equality or minimize income distribution? How do they do this? They charge lamai progressive taxes, right? They let's say provide transfers to the poor people, social protection, Aswasuma, Samurdi, all of that. Then how does the government ensure macroeconomic stability? Using their monetary policy, fiscal policy, you have their supply side policies, they control inflation, they control the exchange rates, they do all of that. How does the economy promote economic growth and development? You can talk about they provide infrastructure. They, for example, even here also you can talk about the policies, like monetary policy. By lowering interest rates, you can promote economic growth and all. So Anna, explain those stories. Earlier question was to just state it. Now here they're asking you, in the 2014 question, they're asking you to explain it. The same thing. Now product expand it and right. Now remember, this same question can come in unit number 1. So explain the role of the government in a market. In a market economy, you learn in unit number 1. So this same question that they asked in unit 8, they can ask same thing in 1. Use of indigenous resources, not really. I won't give that. Okay, done. Yes, sometimes in your exams it will come. Then 2015. 15, question number 7, part 1. Distinguish between a pure public and a merit. Remember, there was a MCQ. Yes, you can write the same answer. Yeah. Difference between price controls. Yes, for income illegal, you can write. Okay. Distinguish between pure public and merit. So pure public, how do you distinguish? Write the characteristics. So pure public is non-rival and also non-excludable. Non-rival, non-excludable. So talk about what that is. Give an example. Then you talk about merit. Now you can say, now merit goods, remember, usually are private goods. So merit goods are, they are rival and excludable. In addition to that, what do? They provide a what? Positive externality. The social benefit is greater than the private benefit. And then go and explain this. Don't give this in a table now. In 2 paragraphs, you will have to give it. In 1 paragraph, talk about this one. In 1 paragraph, talk about merit. Yeah. So that's what you need to write. Previous one, I didn't write anything. Then that is done. Then the next one, 2015 question 2. Explain using an appropriate diagram how the market fails to allocate resources efficiently when there is what? All merit goods are private also. Exactly can't say now. There can be other goods also that are others, but mostly they are private. Let's call. Give me a second. Okay. Explain using a diagram how the market fails to allocate resources efficiently when the production of goods entail external cost. This question was there before, Lama. Which externality should you draw and explain? They're talking about production. They're talking about external costs. This is a what? So negative externality in production. So draw the diagram. So draw the diagram and then you have to explain how the overproduction, underproduction happens. So if I want to quickly show you, how does it happen? You draw 2 cost curves, 1 benefit curve. So which curve is the higher one? Social cost or private cost? Negative in production. The social cost is high. Private cost is low. Then this is the private benefit equals social benefit. So you have to explain now. You have to explain. Look here. This is the equilibrium level. Equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. This one over here in green, this is your social optimal price and the social optimal level of output. So now you have to explain how does the resource inefficiency happen. So then same story as before. So you need to say, look here, a market economy considers only private benefit and private cost. Therefore, they produce the quantity of, let's say, Q1. They ignore external. So this is a negative external in this one. They ignore the external cost. But if you ideally consider the external cost also, you have to be producing if you consider the entire social cost, you have to be producing at Q2. So they are ideally over producing. That means inefficient. You're allocating more resources than what is required. So that story you need to explain. So similar question was there before. So this question, you need to know how to answer this for any 4 externalities. Which one of this they will give you, we don't know. Sometimes they will give you an example and ask to explain. Sometimes they will just give you a pure theory question. Like in the previous one, they had that motorist. The motorist one is what? Positive externality in consumption. Here, without giving an example, they ask you to explain negative externality in production. So the 4 externalities, you need to know how to draw the graph. You need to know how to explain that overproduction, underproduction story. You need to know some examples and you can get it done. Okay. Yeah. Then 2060, question number 7, part 1. Question is saying, explain how the existence of externalities leads to inefficient allocation of resources. Illustrate your answer with appropriate diagrams. In this line, which externality should you draw? Positive, negative, consumption, production. explain how the existence of externalities leads to inefficiency in this thing. They are not talking about positive or negative. They are not talking about production or consumption. So you might have to then draw all four externalities. So then that is something. So I'll quickly draw all four for you, but you should know how to draw this. Huh? So I'll quickly draw the four for you, Lamai. Consumption externalities and production externalities. So consumption positive, consumption negative, production positive, production negative. No, inefficient allocation happens in everything, Lamai. Inefficient allocation is not only in negative. Inefficient allocation can you're either over allocating or you're either under allocating. So you have to then draw everything and explain. So don't take the risk. If they are saying this, you draw everything. So here, consumption. First of all, help me with the graph. We'll first draw the overall thing. If it's a consumption externality, I will draw over or under are both inefficient allocations. For consumption externality, I will draw. You have to give a small explanation. I will draw my two benefit curves. Two benefit curves, one cost curve. For production externalities, I will draw two cost curves, one benefit curve. Two cost curves, one benefit curve. Then you have to label this. This is the social cost equals private cost. This is also social cost equals marginal private cost. In a positive externality, the social benefit is greater, private benefit is less. Here, the private benefit is greater, social benefit is less. Then this is the marginal private benefit equals marginal social benefit. Marginal private benefit equals marginal social benefit. Then here, positive production, the private cost is higher than the social cost. Here, social cost is higher than the private cost. So you need to know how to draw. Now, with 2 months to go for your exam, I'm not teaching you how to draw the diagram. I'm just summarizing the whole thing. Then where is market equilibrium? Always where private cost equals private benefit. That is here. So this is equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. Private cost, private benefit, that is here. Equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. Private cost equals private benefit here. Equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. Private cost, private benefit here. Equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. Social optimal, where social cost equals social benefit. So that is social optimal price, social optimal quantity. Social optimal price, social optimal quantity. Social optimal price, social optimal quantity. Social optimal price, social optimal. So now you have all the 4 diagrams. Now with the 4 diagrams, what you do is now you might have to show how each of this works. So give me 1 second. Hold on, my battery is low. Just give me 1 second and I'll plug my laptop to charge. Okay, right. So now, once you have these diagrams, now what you are doing, you have to explain each one of this for ideally for around 1 to 2 lines. Now, I think all 4 diagrams, you think they can't expect you to explain all of it. No, man. So here you have to talk about. So in a positive externality in consumption, talk about the equilibrium quantity, but talk about, okay, how much they are producing. So they are producing less than the social optimal. So you have to show that. You have to show that. Maybe you can give an overall explanation and then draw the graphs also. That's up to you. So here, Lamai, there is a, in this one, I'll just write, there is a under consumption. Here there is a over consumption. Here there is a underproduction. Here there is a overproduction. So you had to put that right. So whether you overproduce or underproduce and all of it, lamai, you're inefficiently allocating. Underproduction can you're allocating less than what is required. You're overproducing can you're allocating more than. So all of that is inefficient allocation of resources. That's that question. Overall, you can refer to the marking scheme also now and write a nice answer. I think that's a good question for you to maybe expand and actually take some time and write. So if you can draw all four and write for all four, that means any question that they give you, you can handle. Okay, then the next one. 2016, question 7, part 2. What are public goods? That part you know. Non-rival, non-excludable, explain. Why the markets cannot provide such goods, Lamai, is mainly because of the fact that it is non-excludable. So then even if people don't pay, you can't exclude. So therefore, what happens, Lamai? No one will pay. No one will pay, no. Because even without paying, there is no way they can put you out. You will always get the good. So no one will pay. So no one will pay, you can't make a profit from it. So then market economy is profit oriented. So when the market economy is profit oriented and you can't earn a profit from it, what happens? Free rider, yes, they will not, market economy will not provide pure public goods. So that story, now you have to explain. Fine, that's an easy one, Lamai. You all know. Then moving to the next one, 2017. Easy one again. What is a pure public good? A good that is non-excludable, non-rival. Explain the characteristics, you can go. Then how does it differ from a quasi-public good? A quasi-public good is also what? They are also non-rival, but until it reaches capacity. However, a quasi-public good is also excludable. So with the characteristics, Tamailama, you have to differentiate. Non-rival, excludable. This is non-rival and non-excludable. So talk about the characteristics and distinguish. For 2 marks, talk about this. For 2 marks, talk about this. Yes, if you want, you can say marginal cost of providing is 0, but you're looking at the differences here. So I think on it. Then the next one. 2017, question number 2. Why does a free market overproduce goods with negative externalities? Explain your answer with an appropriate diagram. Leave the same question as this. No? Overproduce goods with negative externalities. Can I make it? 2015, question 7, part 2. Draw the diagram. Talk about market only considering their private benefit, private cost. So market only produce things of this. They are producing Q1, but social optimal level is much lesser than that. There is overproduction. And make the same answer, you can copy and paste it there. So 2015, question 7, part 2, same one. So 2015, question 7, part 2, same answer you can write. Yeah, repeated. So I'm not going to explain again. Then 2018. Determine whether the following items are private goods, public goods, or common resources. Can you all quickly give me? First one, fish in the ocean. Fish in the ocean. Those are common property resources. Then broadcast television signals. These broadcasting signals, they are public. Broadcast signals private. Now this is not your dialogue TV. Do you all remember earlier you all had this? I don't know if you all remember though. That's not maybe your generation. This normal antenna before this dialogue POTV and all come. A normal antenna from that you get broadcast signals. Antenna like what that your channel gets more clearer. So those signals yes. So that antenna, those signals that you get, they are non-rival. No? Just because your house is getting signals, does that mean the other house will not get signals? No. Okay. So it's non-rival. Non-rival and it's non-excludable, right? Now, yeah, initial cost to buy the antenna is there, but you can't exclude someone now just because someone doesn't pay. Can you stop the fellow from getting, let's say, ITN signals? Or let's say, Sirius TVK signal. You can't stop the fellow getting, if he has antenna, he will get. So it's non-rival, non-excludable. So that will be a public good level. Okay. Not a global public good. Okay. Basic research on lifestyle and cholesterol. Basic research. What do you think? Private, the public. And the next one is saying specific research. If it's basic research, Lama, it will be available freely on the internet and all of it. Non-rival, non-excludable then, right? If it's basic research, then it is non-rival, non-excludable, then it will be, Lama, again, a public good. And then what about this one? Specific research on cholesterol lowering drug for which a patent can be obtained. So that everyone doesn't get. If you get the patent, you will get, then others won't get. Meaning that is rival. If I get the patent, I will get that research. And also, if you don't get the patent, you can exclude the people. So it's rival and excludable, then that will become a private good. And remember, the question is telling you only to put among these. Don't go and put other stuff. They are saying private, public, the common. Don't go and say quasi-public, use the three they have given you. Don't use global public, all of it, no. Okay, so that's the classification there. Then 2018, same thing, 2018, question 7, part 2. How do you justify the government intervention in a free market economy? It's not impossible to charge a price for a public good. You can charge a price. It's that no one will pay for it. So therefore, it just doesn't make sense. Practically, no. But you can't say impossible to charge. You can charge, but no one will pay. So 2018 question 7 part 2, Lamai. This is the same thing as, remember, there was a previous question asking, why is the role of the government inevitable in a market economy? So that story is what you can write. So that story is the same thing. He also connect it with the market failure and write this one. So you can say, look here, market economy fails because of inefficiency in resource allocation. So therefore, the government has to enter in order to ensure efficient allocation of resources. They will provide public goods. They will discourage the provision of demerit goods. And you talk about all of that. Then you can say, okay, market economy fails because of income inequality. Therefore, the government has to enter, or government has to ensure equality in income distribution. For that, they will have progressive taxes, provide, let's say, transfers, and connect it and write. Same thing. This is the 4th time that they're asking this question in the last, how many years? In the last 7 odd years, no? Okay, so this is the same thing. 2011, question 7, part 1. Then the next one, 2019. Major functions of a government in a mixed economy. Now, earlier they asked for functions of a government in a market economy. What do you write? Functions of government in a mixed economy. Same thing, you think. What else is the government going to do? So the moment the government intervenes into a market economy, it becomes a mixed economy. So write the same thing that you wrote over here. You can write. Can you just check the marking scheme also and confirm if there's anything new? It's the efficiency in resource allocation to provide public goods, those. Income inequality progressive taxes, transfer payments, those. Macroeconomic stability monetary policy, fiscal policies, use those. And then growth and all of it. I'd leave the same thing. Okay, I don't think there are different answers. If there are different answers, just let me know. Okay, so same thing as before, inefficiency in resource, this part. So this is the 5th time now they are testing the same thing in a bit of a different way. Yeah. Since they are saying mention, you can just write points. Make a explain karan only. It's mentioned. You can just give points and you can write. Then the next part, 2019, question 7, part 2. What are the obstacles to achieve efficient allocation of resources? What are they asking? These are the, before giving me a specific answer, what are they asking? The sub-reasons for inefficiency in resource allocation, right? The ones that we had in that MCQ. So you can talk, right? So the sub-reasons are what, Lamai? Market economy doesn't provide public goods. Why does it not provide public goods? Because, it's non-excludable, no one will pay. So, give 4 complete points. Okay. Non-optimal consumption of quasi-public goods. Why? quasi-public goods, the price they charge is much higher than marginal cost, you can explain. So 4 proper points on the sub-reasons. That's what you have to say. Promote infrastructure, regulate. Yeah, that's also fine. In the previous one, you can also give that in addition to what you're writing. Imperfect information, imperfect competition, all of it you can give. See, same question lamai comes again and again and again and again. 2019 question 7 part 3, define pure public and merit. That we did lamai. That question was there before also, pure public and merit. And the only thing, common resource also we did. That you all know now. Now I don't have to repeat. The new thing they have is natural monopolies. What is natural monopoly? I don't know why they connected this with here, but they've just put it. We learned that in unit number 4. What's a natural monopoly now? So that is a firm that produces in large scale. They produce a large scale as a result of that. What has happened? They have economies of scale. So they have economies of scale, meaning their average cost, long run average cost is so low. Therefore, no one can even come and compete with them because they are producing so much. Their average cost is so low. So they can charge a very low price. So no one even can come and think of competing with them. That's what you call a natural monopoly. Not that they are preventing others from coming. Never. There is no patent or nothing like that. No artificial barrier at all. They are just so big, others can't come and compete. So because of this, the others can't compete with this fellow. So naturally, they become a monopoly. That's what you call a natural monopoly. So what you do is for 4 marks, 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, product define. When you say define, for like 3 lines maybe, product talk about each of this. That's all that you have to. Then the next one, 2020. State whether the following goods and services can be considered as pure public goods. Give reason. So, can it be considered pure public goods? Give reasons. Lighthouses can we consider as pure public goods? Yes or no? Yes. Why? Because it is non-rival, non-excludable. So you can say non-rival, non-excludable. So you can consider. Then ocean fish. So ocean fish are common property. So you can say no. Why no? Because they are excludable. So they are non-excludable, but they are rival. If I go and catch all the ocean fish, no, not non-rival until max. This is common property. If I go in the morning and catch all the fish, then you will not have fish to catch. So you can say that it's not a pure public good. You can say it's a common property resource. What about the internet, Lamai? Is it rival? If I am getting internet, does that mean you can't get internet? It's not really rival, right? I am also getting, you're also getting. Just because I am getting, does that mean you're getting less internet? So it is non-rival. Internet is non-rival. But is it excludable? If you don't pay, can whoever who is giving you internet stop giving you internet? Can your mobile service provider, your Dialog, the Mobitel, the SLD, they can. So you can say non-rival and exclude. So you can here also you can say it's not a pure public good. Can you just recheck the answer in the marking scheme? You can debate this in multiple ways though. If one person uses, you might get slower. That is if you're using the same connection. But just because I am getting internet doesn't mean you're not getting. Can you recheck the marking scheme? The marking scheme also saying it's not a public good. Yeah, not. And are they giving the reasons that it is non-rival but excludable? Because you can argue, you can argue, for example, let's say now if it's the same connection people are using, then it is rival. Let's say all now in your home, Lamai, don't you all have this problem? Your brother or sister is finishing off the Wi-Fi. You have that problem. You have that issue. So within your house, then there is rivalry, Lamai. But if you look at different people, then there is no rival. Just because I am getting internet, that doesn't mean you don't get it, right? No, so speed doesn't decrease if it's multiple connections. If it's the same connection, everyone is using the rival very. So you can argue that, but we are thinking of not same connection. We're thinking of multiple connections. Okay. So non-rival, but it is excludable. So therefore, it is not a pure public good. So you can say like, for a pure public good, it has to be non-rival and non-excludable. So only lighthouses have that. Others don't have both those characteristics. Yeah, so excludable, non-rival. That's what I also said. So then lama excludable, non-rival can it's like a semi-public good. Non-rival can't be pure public. Yes, be quasi-public. Then the next one, 2020 question 7 part 2. Name two merit goods and explain why they are considered merit goods. Name two merit goods. So you can say, Lamai, for example, education, vaccination. Instead of saying health, Lamai, say something like vaccination. Okay, those are merit goods. Or you can say healthcare services. Then why are they considered merit goods, Lama? You need to say because it creates a what? Because there is a external. They are not merit goods because they are excludable rival. That is private. So they are merit goods because they create an external benefit. Apart from the consumer, there is an external party also that gets benefited. So as a result of this external benefit, what happens? The social benefit that these goods generate are greater than the private benefit. Yes, COVID-19 vaccine, fine. So you can just say vaccination in general, vaccination, education. You can give as examples. And why is it a merit good? Because of this. The underconsumed part, not necessarily to write. If you want, you can write, but you are just proving it. Why is it a merit good? What is a merit good? A good that generates a external benefit. Some third party is also benefiting because of this. So then talk about that, talk about social benefit or private benefit. You should be fine. Done. Then 2020, this same question, 11. Why does a free market overproduce goods with a negative externality? So what should you draw? Negative externality in production. And you draw the diagram and explain why is it overproduced. The same thing was there. Maybe in 2015, question 7, part 2. So negative externality in production, draw the diagram. Why are you overproducing? Or in other words, you are inefficiently allocating or you're allocating more resources than what is actually required. So write the story there. Okay. So same as the 2015 A-level question, same answer, copy and paste. Then 2021. Why in a market economy, some goods are overconsumed and some goods are underconsumed? Now, when they talk about over and underconsumed, you're talking about what externality here now? You're talking about positive and negative externalities of consumption, right? So positive externality in consumption and a negative externality in consumption. So positive externality in consumption, Lama, it becomes underconsumed. So you draw the diagram. Now I have drawn the diagram before for you know. Negative externality becomes Lama overconsumed. So here you can draw both of it and now you can explain. You can say, look here. Now this is positive in consumption. These are called the merit goods. Right? Merit. Negative in consumption is the demerit goods. So then draw the diagram. Say that, look here, people only consider in a market economy, they will only consider what? Their private benefit and private cost. They ignore any external benefit. So in a positive externality, they ignore the external benefit. Social benefit is greater than the private benefit, but they only think of their private benefit. Therefore, they end up underconsumed. In a negative externality, private benefit is more than social benefit. there is a negative external benefit. There is an external person getting harmed, but people only think of their one. And as a result, they end up overconsume. You can give examples. Negative, you gotta give, let's say, smoking. Positive, give things like education. So for 2 marks, ideally draw the diagram and all and explain the story. So as long as you know, Lamai, how to draw the 4 externality diagrams, explain the 4 diagrams, it's the same thing in different ways. They keep on asking. Okay. Done. Then the next one. 2021, question 7, part 2. Outline the differences between pure private and public. So mainly what can you talk about, Lama? You can talk about rival versus non-rival. Yeah, so you can say private goods are rival, meaning the consumption of one person will limit the amount the other person has. Right? It will limit the consumption of another person. But public goods, however, are non-rival. Right? There is no comparison in consumption. Then you can talk about, Lamai, the what? Excludable versus non-excludable. So private goods are excludable. You can stop someone from consuming, but public goods, you can't. Even if someone doesn't pay, he will end up getting. Have they talked about anything else apart from this line? If you want, you can even talk about the marginal cost. The marginal cost of providing a pure public good for one extra person is 0. Remember that MCQ. But for a private good, to provide it for one extra this thing, you can say marginal cost will be positive. Or there will be a marginal cost. There will be additional cost of providing it for one extra person. But for a public good, there might not be any extra cost. You can give some examples as well. One para is also okay, but maybe the differences itself can be points. That would be a better structure, I would feel. So you can say, okay, so you can say mainly, okay, public goods, it is, you can say this, right? So public goods, another difference is, Lama, it is not provided by the market. So market economy does not provide public goods. So therefore, the government has to intervene and provide it. Now, private goods, you can say the market economy will provide private goods, but sometimes private goods that generate positive externalities, those are merit goods, they might be underprovided. There might be demerit, those might be overprovided, but still the market provides. They might overprovide or underprovide, but they still provide. But public goods are not at all provided by market economy. And give some differences. Ideally, it would be nice if you can talk about 4 differences. The structure can be, instead of talking about private and public separately, you talk about the characteristics separately. So here, this one can be marginal cost, who provides it, right? Give it like that. So 4 different character differences outlined like that. So maybe, for example, the first point you will say, a private good is rival in consumption, meaning the consumption of a good by one person will limit the consumption of another. However, on the other hand, a public good is non-rival. And you can give it like that. Okay, that's what you can do. 2020 question 7 part 2. It's the same thing, right? Merit goods. Same thing that we did before, right? What are merit goods? And the external benefit story. We did this before. I hope you were not missing in the previous ones. Don't give it column wise. Don't draw a table. Table is very too basic. It gives a very babyish kind of an answer. So give it in more point form, but don't put all in one paragraph. Give it nicely in point form. Rejectable, non-rejectable. What does that mean? Are you talking about excludable? Don't use those words also. Use the words that is there. Excludable, non-excludable. Okay. Then 2022. None of teachers don't recommend tables. I don't know if they do, but tables, Rama, is good if you have a differentiate kind of question. You are giving a very babyish kind of answer when you draw a table and give. I'm not sure who your teacher is, but based on what I have learned, based on what I have been telling my students, I don't recommend tables. I've done pretty well. My students have done pretty well. Marginal cost for private goods, Lama, you can say there is a marginal cost here. There will be 0. Okay. Deadweight loss in the graphs. Look at the difference between the social optimal and the equilibrium and that triangle that you get between that. For BS, I think you should be able to that you check with your BS teacher. Okay. Then 2022 question 7 part 1. Classify the following goods as either public merit or demerit. Okay. Radio transmissions, just like you had television signal transmissions before, radio transmissions are public goods, non-rival, non-excludable. Vaccination, merit. Cigarettes, demerit. What about museums? Public, merit. Where would you put? It's a semi-public. Okay. But then can you say public? Question is not asking to say semi-public. No, question is saying public, the merit, the demerit. You are to put into one of those three. You can't say semi-public. Where can you put it? You can't say public. No, public lama, it has to be non-rival, non-excludable then. Dekama nane. Museums are excludable. So then you can't say public. Can you say it's merit though? In a museum, you might go and watch and learn something, and you might go and tell your friends, and they will also get benefit, and then there could be an externality. So I would argue, rather than putting it as a public, I would maybe put, because it's semi-public. I agree it's semi-public, but semi-public is not option. You have to put one of the options they have given. Pandita again, no one knows semi-public, you get it wrong. So then from the options they have given, definitely not demerit. For it to be public, it has to be non-rival, non-excludable. But museums are not non-excludable. You have to buy a ticket to go. So you can exclude. If you don't buy the ticket, they won't send you in. So then you can argue that it is a merit. Can you all recheck the marking scheme? Are they saying merit? Museum. Okay. Fine. Okay. So then that is okay. Right. PS paper classes, there are a lot, but I am not very sure what these people have in the last 1 month. So what I will recommend right now is, Lamai, with just 1 month to go for the exam, don't find a normal revision class. If there are any seminars or something someone is doing, do that thing. Because if they have like a paper series or something, Lamai, there is nothing else left. No, man. It's almost done. So always, yeah, if there's a mock exam series, you can try. So I've seen Shukri sir do, I saw Hanam doing one, Leon does one. So there are multiple teachers who do, but see what they are doing. All the teachers are equally good, do they? See what they are doing right now. Ideal, if there is like a seminar kind of a thing they are doing, that could be the exact good thing. So seminar, they will, like, for example, how I did the special seminar series. So that kind of thing would have been nice to cover the entire difficult parts. So if there is something like that someone is doing, I have not seen anything, but if there is, you can just try. Okay, 2022, next one. How does a negative externality in consumption affect allocative efficiency in resources? Explain your answer. So allocative efficiency can your overproduction, underproduction. Don't overthink on that allocative efficiency. You're not allocating your resources efficiently. You're producing more or less. So here, talk about negative externality consumption. So draw the diagram there. Negative consumption can two benefit curves, one cost curve. The private benefit is higher than the social benefit. This is private cost, social cost. So we have done this. Now I'm not drawing the diagram again. You show. So show how you are over consuming. So over consuming can you're allocating more resources than what is required. And also if you want, here you can even talk about a dead weight loss. I'll just show you the dead weight loss story here. So you have to be producing, your market equilibrium is this. But you're actually producing this. So there is an overproduction that happens. The gap between those two social benefit and social cost curves. This is the creation of your dead weight loss. You can show that dead weight loss story. You can show you have to only be producing. This is your social optimum. But you're producing more equilibrium. There is an overproduction. So you're allocating more resources than what is required. You can talk about it. And you can even talk about this. So social cost is the marginal cost. No, you can say marginal cost is greater than marginal benefit. Remember, unit number 3, we talk about a dead weight loss story. And if you want, you can connect those as well. But mainly you have to explain a negative externality in consumption. Draw the diagram, show the overproduction story, like how we did before for the other ones. Okay, done. Then 2023. Explain the impact of external benefit and external cost on resource allocation. What do you do here? What should you explain? Is there a specific externality? Yeah, do you have to talk about all the externalities? Ideally, in general, you can talk about all, but you don't need to have all the diagrams in it. So you can talk about this. So you can say, for example, external benefits are created during a consumption activity. So if there is a external benefit that happens, then that's a positive externality in consumption. When there are positive externalities in consumption, the good will be under consumed because the social benefit is greater than private benefit. They only think of their private benefit. They allocate resources less than what is required. Then if there is a negative externality in consumption, or in other words, there is a negative external benefit, okay, so then those goods will be overconsumed. So overconsumed because the private benefit is more than social benefit. Examples like cigarettes. So talk about. So when they say lamai resource allocation කියන්නේ, you're talking about the over or underproduction. No? Your overproduction means you're allocating more resources than what is required. Underproduction means you're allocating less resources than what is required. So then external costs. So you can say external costs are generated during externalities in production. You have positive here and negative here. So negative ones are overproduced. Positive ones are underproduced. And again, you have to explain now. Same thing in different ways. They will ask it. That is exactly what you will also get in your paper. Done. 2023, question 7, part 2. Two examples of merit goods. Education, vaccination, you can give. Explain why merit goods are underconsumed. Again, explain the story. So positive externalities in consumption. So merit goods generate external benefits, but the private sector market economy doesn't consider that. They only think about their private benefit, but in reality, social benefit is more than the private benefit. But since they only consider their private benefit, they end up under consuming. So draw the diagram and all and explain. Same thing was there before as well. Then the latest paper. Define common property resources and distinguish them from public goods. Easy, no? So what are common property resources? Common property resources are the resources that are what? Non-excludable. They are non-excludable, but they are rival in consumption. So talk a little bit about what is non-consumption, what is non-excludable, what is rival, and then give some examples. Say common ownership is there, fisheries, grasslands, all of that. Then how are they different from pure public goods? Pure public goods are like rival and excludable. Sorry, non-rival, non-excludable. So then you know the story. So do you see, Lamai, there is a very common pattern of these questions. Either mostly they talk about the 4 different types of goods, or they talk about the 4 different types of externalities. One of that no is coming always. Either it's about the types of goods, either it's this. Yeah, they always ask about merit goods, why they are under consumed. Maybe they can ask about demerit goods, why are they over consumed? Yes. So here, Lamai, what you can talk about, now you're defining. So defining in and explain that. And then in the next paragraph, talk about public goods. Okay. Define this. This can be in 2 paragraphs. Then there is one more, last one. Explain how market failure and government failure can lead to inefficiency in allocation of resources. So market failure, inefficiency, you all know, Nalamai. So market failure, inefficiency is where market economy doesn't provide merit goods. So these are sub-reasons for inefficiency in resource allocation, which we did. Okay, you can write. Now, how are you talking about this? Now, this is a bit of a new part. How does, yes, demerit goods also you can talk about. Excellent. How does government failure lead to inefficiency in resource allocation? There also you can talk about, right? Talk about the reasons for government failure, right? You can talk about, for example, them having political self-interest. So political self-interest, they will, for example, do projects or do things that might only benefit them or their close relatives. So they are not allocating resources properly then. Maybe you have to allocate resource, produce one thing, but they are allocating for something else. Then maybe you make decisions based on imperfect information. You have what short-term vision that is called political myopia, right? So you can talk about corruption. So all of that you can say then as a result of this, they don't allocate resources properly. So here you talk about how the market economy also this ones and how the government also is a bureaucracy fine. Okay. So that is it with the essay questions. Manageable, right? If you write the questions and go, Lamai, I will trust me, it's not hard. You have to write. By looking at my face and looking at me discussing, you are not going to feel it. If you have written answers properly in full caps, right? You have a proper set of, I know anyone who wrote it, how many full caps did it take to write all the essay questions? 2011 all the way until 24. You wrote for all. It would have at least taken you around, if you take pages, 10 to 15 pages. Or is it 10 pages? Roughly 10 with the questions that they had. So if you have done that 14 sites, okay, so then let's say 10 roughly. So those 10 pages, if you're properly written, Lamai, it's the same thing that they actually will ask. So that is that with that focus area. So we're done with, I would say, 50% of unit number 8. The remaining parts of fiscal policy, these two, 27 and 28, I am doing it tonight. So what I will recommend is, Lamai, probably now after today's class until night, hopefully if you don't have any other classes, do these two. So today with me itself, do all the unit 8 past papers and finish. So the tunes for focus area 27 and 28 is on the group. If you want, I will resend it. You can get it done. Tomorrow we have unit 9. Day after tomorrow we have unit 10. Try your level best to do the questions. Even if you can't do, still come for the discussion. You can write it even later afterwards. Okay, so with that, I will call it off for today. We've done a lot of questions now. I will meet you all again at 6 p.m. in the evening to do focus area 27 and 28. See you.